Lewiston, Maine at 6:56 last night and murdered 7 people with what looks like a semi-automatic rifle. 12 minutes later went into a billiards bar and restaurant, according to police, and murdered 8 people. And then 3 people who were brought to hospitals later died, which brings the total number of people killed to 18.
Fox's Nate Foy, 13 others injured. 3 of them are in critical condition.
This city did not deserve this terrible assault on its citizens, on its peace of mind, on its sense of security. No city does. No state, no people.
Governor Janet Mills says she's deeply saddened, but that Maine will heal together. 3 communities still under shelter-in-place orders as the manhunt continues. Robert Card is said to be a firearms instructor who had received mental health treatment recently. A U.S. official tells the Associated Press police had taken him in for evaluation after acting erratically at West Point in July. President Biden calls the shooting senseless, urging gun reform and ordering flags to half-staff. A day after the president warned Iran about attacks by proxy groups on U.S. forces, Iran's foreign minister is warning Washington about support for Israel, also saying at the UN the U.S. won't be spared from this fire if Israel doesn't stop retaliatory strikes in Gaza. Congress holding hearings on sponsors of terrorism, including Iran.
It's clear they provide significant funding for the military wing of Hamas. They provide training. They provide capabilities.
Senate Banking Committee Chair Sherrod Brown says they need to stop the flow of funding, but he's disagreed with calls to refreeze billions in Iranian money the White House says is limited to humanitarian uses. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
At SimpliSafe, our award-winning home security has advanced sensors, HD cameras, and now this 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Now get 45% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Summertime in late October continues. A mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. A couple of showers around 78. Tonight, clouds and showers, 65. Friday, partly sunny, windy and warm. Some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. 82 on Friday. Cold front comes through Friday night. Showers and thunderstorms, 48 degrees. Much colder over the weekend with still plenty of rain. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brasati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half-mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
Single-family houses and apartments are the key to passive income, a.k.a. retirement. No one knows this better than America's most successful investor, educator, self-made multimillionaire, and CEO of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley. Meet Del's team live in St. Louis. 2 days only at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Saturday and Sunday, November 4th and 5th. To attend, register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register today at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Some parts need the gentle, easy trim of a Gillette trimmer, and some need the closeness and comfort of Gillette Intimate Razor, while others need a Gillette Anti-Chafe Stick. Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews, and if invasive plants and trees have overtaken your pasture, roads, trails, or dams, then you need Missouri Brush Control. Their special forestry mulching equipment helps landowners reclaim their property. Enjoy your land like you've always dreamed of. To learn more, visit MissouriBrushControl.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Beth, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy Thursday. Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. We're glad you're here with us this afternoon. Every day seems to have a whole new set of circumstances towards the news cycle, even though the stories of yesterday don't go away. They continue to build, and we continue to add more. Of course, if you've been paying attention to the news, you know that there was an active shooter situation last night in Maine, and it has not been resolved yet. 18 dead. I believe that he's been charged with 8 counts of murder, and the reason the other ones have not been, you're saying, Annie, 18 dead, only 8 counts of murder? Well, at the time of that news, they had not identified and I suppose notified everybody of the identities of the other 10. So that story is happening right now. We do want to acknowledge that it's developing. Since it's a breaking news scenario, if news develops throughout the course of the day, we will bring it to you. I think that's probably the extent of what we're gonna put out there right now. These are the types of stories that, for me, I mean, I could think of so many different things that are really big news stories where the first probably 36 hours, everything gets thrown up against the wall, and people choose to determine for themselves what sticks, but what ends up being there at the end, if that's the way that it's done, if I had to jump into this story too soon, I don't want to perpetuate something that doesn't materialize to be true. And since it's in Maine at this time, I just am going to give you the details as they happen, rather than certainly not to be so shallow as to jump into the politics behind it when we don't actually even know the full set of circumstances, the full set of evidence of how the story came to be. So we'll continue to watch it, and it is very sad. It is very tragic. It is not resolved. If it does become resolved during our show, if there are big developments, we will update you on those as they happen. One of the reasons why I hold back on this is I noticed the reaction to the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who was sworn in yesterday, unanimously voted by his colleagues, his Republican colleagues in the House there. Yesterday on Twitter, last night on Twitter, there was resurfacing of old tweets and communications and stuff that Mike Johnson has done in the past. And, you know, all of that has context. All of that matters over the course of time to understand who this person is that is now our Speaker of the House. When Hans von Spakovsky joins us here in 10 minutes or so you're going to want to stick around for that, I'm going to ask him, is this a sought-after job? The Speaker of the House, he's 2 heartbeats away from the presidency, and one of those heartbeats is Joe Biden's. This is a very, very powerful position the way our government is structured. But as far as the business of the House, there's a lot of people making the case during these last 3 weeks that this is not a job that anybody truly wants. So what is the job? That's the question. It's a title. Of course, it's a title. You go from being a sophomore representative in Louisiana in the House of Representatives that your colleagues respect. You've been able to kind of fly under the radar with a name like Mike Johnson. It's not like someone's gonna say your name and you're like, I'm gonna remember that one. It's not one of those names that catches that extra memory bank file back there and it sticks with you. So all of a sudden, this man is in a very, very powerful position. What is it that he can do? What is it that he needs to do? I find that to be a very interesting part of the conversation because what Nancy Pelosi was able to do with the speaker position was consolidate a lot of power into her position while she held the gavel. Does it take the right man? I mean, a George Washington of sorts, when we talk to Brett Baer, or as Ryan Wiggins calls him, Mr. Baer, when we talked to Brett Baer about his book about George Washington, and he was talking about how George Washington was just absolutely the right man at the right time to build this American experiment off of, because George Washington understood the great value of restoring and fortifying power in the hands of the people. Not in the hands of some big bloated government or some over-bloated, powerful position as Speaker of the House. When you look at George Washington and what he did and how he walked away from the position and they're like, oh, we could make you king. And he's like, wait a second, have you been paying attention in class? Because the answer would be no. Set in term limits for the presidency. How much does whatever anybody wants to dig up on Mike Johnson actually apply to what the House of Representatives that has 435 members in it, what they ultimately decide, what they vote to do? And is the structure of the House of Representatives and the Republican community therein, which is a majority, but by the slimmest of margins, is it not business as usual because the person who is in that speaker seat didn't rise to that moment through a series of deals that he cut, compromises that he made, which was the great challenge and frustration that some people, specifically Matt Gaetz, had with Kevin McCarthy. I think we're in a different spot right now. And I certainly notice from people who are moderate to left, the number one thing they care about is how much Mike Johnson overlaps with Donald Trump. That's the most important thing to them. Because if you overlap with Donald Trump, then inherently, somehow or another, that's bad. It's kind of a tell as to where we are going here in the future in the next less than 13 months, like 12 months and maybe 2 weeks, maybe a week. November 5th, 2024, when people have to vote right now, presumably for Donald Trump or Joe Biden. The idea that Donald Trump, his name and his, as an appendage of the House Republicans, bears so much weight with common sense people who understand that we are playing with fire when it comes to Joe Biden being our president. They know that this situation is bad. They know it. They know that he shouldn't be the president to begin with. They do still hate Donald Trump. They are still disgusted by Donald Trump. They do still consider themselves to be morally and ethically superior to Donald Trump. And in some ways, if we're talking apolitically, if we're talking just on a simple moral and ethical standpoint, I know a lot of Republican voters who are not approving of a whole host of things that Donald Trump has said or that he has done. But you are blindfolding yourself. If every single question comes down to, or decision or position or perspective, if you first, it's like looking through a camera lens and you see what you see, but then you have to put the filter on it. I don't know, for this one, we'll say it's an orange-based filter. And now you see everything that way. Take the filter away, it's a disaster. You put the filter on, somehow it makes it worse. In the eyes of the people who see everything through, first, the filter of Donald Trump. Anybody who is repulsed by Donald Trump, ask them, say, what is it about the guy? And don't do it in a combative way. Sit down, have a conversation. Do it in an open, honest way where you listen to what they say before you know what you're going to respond. Because there are people who are not going to change their positions on Donald Trump. But at the same time, what is it about Donald Trump that frustrates you so much? That a man named Mike Johnson, who you had to go, who? And then you're like, from where? How long has he been there? That somehow or another his connection to Donald Trump would somehow or another preclude him from being able to be in the position that he's in. Some people hate Donald Trump because Donald Trump makes them feel bad. There are people in my life that I do not like because the simple sight of them makes me feel a way that I don't like. Some of them are justified. Some of them, quite frankly, aren't really that justified, and I need to do better. But at the same time, you have to understand what it means to cut your nose off to spite your face. You have to understand that Donald Trump got, 8 million more votes in 2020 than he got in 2016? That means there are 8 million or whereabouts people in this country under the circumstances with which Donald Trump was covered during those 4 years and the campaign that led into it. They were still 8 million people who were like, I don't know about this guy, but things have been better. And in the midst of COVID, 8 million more people. Imagine that. Imagine the onslaught of negative media coverage. It's like 98% of negative media coverage that Donald Trump endured during the time he was the president. And he's running in November of 2020, which means that we were still in Illinois, we were still wearing masks everywhere you went. In Missouri, some of you just have more liberties than we do over in Illinois. I don't know what it is about that east side of the Mississippi River, but it's just a little more suffocating. In those circumstances, Donald Trump still garnered 8 million more votes. And you know why? It's because people know that his policies were better. People know that those 4 years, they felt prosperity better. That is in spite of an all-hands-on-deck assault against Donald Trump, his character, who he is, and what he has done for the country. My frustration with Donald Trump is that he doesn't make the fight any easier for himself. And I could not be more consistent about saying that out loud. People will jump on and, send me a message or whatever. You never criticized Donald Trump for anything. And I'm like, it's funny because the people who listen to my show who really love Donald Trump keep telling me to stop criticizing Donald Trump. I think I'm in the arena where most people in America are in. Politically, I would consider myself to be incredibly conservative personally, but practically, I understand that when you put yourself in a situation where you have to come to some sort of majority agreement with people, I think Mike Johnson said it yesterday, we have to never compromise our principles, but we may have to compromise on our preferences. What a great way to say it. And it sure seems to me like Donald Trump behind closed doors is very, very good at making deals. Some might even call it an artist. We have to start looking at the fruits of the labor. We don't have any other options in front of us right now to keep us safe, to keep this country and its freedom first, liberty loving, principled foundation intact. We don't have another option right now than whomever that Republican nominee is for the president, and it's going to be Donald Trump. That is the future of the health of this country, because the direction we're heading right now is disastrous. The more that you watch left-leaning coverage, the more you hear them talking about how the Republicans have been in chaos in the House. That is distraction material, because I'm listening to Republicans. They're saying the same thing because they want it to get better. The Democrats want the spotlight to stay there. They want you to know that the Republican Party is the party of chaos. And I would agree with that to a sentiment in the last couple weeks. I wish we'd have a plan before we decided to kick the whole thing over and bust it all apart. But now here we are with the speaker. The messaging is firm and steady about who Mike Johnson is and what Mike Johnson has done. And one of my favorites is the fact that they say he's an election denier and his role in the 2020 election, and that juxtaposition with Donald Trump and denying elections is at the epicenter of their concern with him. I just want to play for you. This is from the GOP. And they put together a compilation of Hakeem Jeffries and Hakeem Jeffries' reaction to the 2016 election. Donald Trump won that election and Hillary Clinton lost. Listen to Hakeem Jeffries.
There is a cloud of illegitimacy around the election of Donald Trump. Russia interfered with our election, attacked our democracy for the sole purpose of artificially placing someone at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They were successful. There is clearly a cloud of illegitimacy hanging over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue that's growing bigger by the day. There's a cloud of illegitimacy that continues to hang over 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So-called president of the United States. So-called president. So-called president. So-called president.
Well, and just like that, that is Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the Democrat Party in the House of Representatives, challenging his confidence in the 2016 election. And listen, I'm not bent out of shape that he was challenging it. Challenge away. Prove it. Which is the exact same thing that I've been saying to the Republicans in 2020. Show me what you've got. Put it out in front of me. My concerns with the 2020 election have to do with the way we bent laws in state legislatures or around state legislatures, state to state to state, because of COVID. And I've been very consistent on that. Hypocrisy is our most commonly shared trait in Washington, D.C. And we here, the people, the ones who have the actual power, have to retain the authority over that, call it out when we see it on both sides, and get these people to get back to the business of the American people. The YouTube live chat poll today was the search for a new speaker ultimately a good thing? Yes or no? Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Join us. Leave a comment as to why you think it was or was not. And Hans von Spakovsky will come back to talk to us about what authority does the speaker have right now, maybe that they won't have in the future. And Mike Johnson, what kind of business does he have to get down to from the jump on behalf of the American people? We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The Retirement Advisory Group and Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw are taking your appointments right now so that you could sit down and talk to them about retirement. So you can be comfortable and confident that while you are a year or two, maybe you're in your late 50s, in your 60s, maybe you just retired, and you want to make sure that retirement, everything that you've worked for, is going to work for you when you're not making the income anymore. It's just an easy sit-down conversation with them. They are very accommodating. They will make whatever you need them to do as far as scheduling that time, that date. They'll make it work so that you can be comfortable. And then you just get to talk to each other. Tell them about where you are. Tell them about what retirement in your dreams, in your hopes, and your reality looks like for you. And then they'll tell you how to make sure that you don't have to worry about market downturns, that you'll be comfortable regardless of what the news cycle is doing. Give them a call at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. And schedule your appointment today. You can find them online at retirementkey.com.
Well, there's a very good chance as you've driven down your street, you have admired houses in your neighborhood that have been covered in Rhino Shield, and you don't even know it. Except if you pay close attention, you'll notice that they're not being repainted every couple of years. What I mean is same bright, vivid colors that you would choose with regular paint, except that Rhino Shield lasts. And you're going to get a 25-year warranty with it. I've got it on my house, and I mean it. It looks like it did the day they put it on. It lasts and lasts. It's lab tested to last that long against chipping or peeling or cracking. And they put this on businesses as well. Condo units from Springfield, Illinois, all the way down to the Lake of the Ozarks. You can find it. And my friend Darren will be happy to come over and give you a free evaluation of your home. All you have to do is call him. Tell him you heard Mark Cox talking about it. 877-25-RHINO or online at 877-25rhino.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Get the Mark Reardon special, 3-room Zero Res clean starting at $129. You can also get $50 off your air duct cleaning when you call 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
Conservatives Care is honored to support Kelsey's Hope Foundation, supporting children with cancer and their families. Annie here, 97.1 FM Talk is proud to support Kelsey's Hope. Give back at the Tree of Hope Gala on November 18th. Learn more at 971talk.com/care.
Forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
Don't want to miss you tonight, and I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's made to be broken. I just want you to know who I
The challenge before us is great, but the time for action is now, and I will not let you down. I want to say to the American people, on behalf of all of us here, we hear you. We know the challenges you're facing. We know that there's a lot going on in our country, domestically and abroad, and we are ready to get to work again to solve those problems, and we will. Our mission here is to serve you well, to restore the people's faith in this House, in this great and essential institution.
So the House of Representatives has a speaker, and Speaker Mike Johnson from Louisiana, and he said later on in the day that they were going to forego all of the pomp and circumstance that surrounds a new speaker being sworn in and get straight to business. Good idea, good plan, good policy. A lot of judgment out there right now from the left, and there's a lot of marching orders that have been clearly laid out as to why Mike Johnson is a bad dude and shouldn't be the Speaker of the House. But in the midst of that, I wonder, what kind of role does he play in actually getting things done? What authority, what powers come with that gavel? Well, we ask our friend Hans von Spakovsky about that. Senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation joins us once again. Hans, welcome back to the show. It's good to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, talk to me about, we knew that the House couldn't do anything if they didn't have a speaker. Now that the speaker is in place, a lot of things being picked on about Mike Johnson, things he's voted on, things he said, things he's supported. How much does who Mike Johnson is influence what Mike Johnson does as the speaker?
The speaker is the one who sets the agenda for the House, who schedules what bills and resolutions will be voted on. He's also the one that gets to choose who are the members of all the various committees, and most importantly, who are the chairs of the committees. And for example, if a committee wants to engage in an impeachment inquiry, they're going to have to get the permission of the Speaker of the House first to authorize it, which is, as you know, something that happened when Kevin McCarthy was the Speaker. He was the one that told House members they could go ahead and start a potential impeachment inquiry on President Joe Biden.
So he has authority to select people to head up specific committees and maybe put other people of influence in charge of particular issues. A lot of people are concerned about Mike Johnson's participation in Donald Trump's impeachment, lawyer teams, and then also his involvement in, questioning the 2020 election. Do you see his actions there playing any particular kind of role in who he'll be as a speaker?
No, because he's not any different than how many tens of millions of Americans questioned the outcome of the elections. How many claims were filed, how many lawsuits were filed. He simply wanted those issues resolved, just like so many other Americans. I don't see how in the world that supposedly affects his behavior as the speaker going forward as we deal with important issues like the war in the Middle East, the war in Ukraine, the huge budget deficit. None of that election stuff has anything to do with all of those very important issues we're facing.
So, Hans, while the speaker position was unfilled, that was about 3 weeks' time, do we assume that those members who are in the House of Representatives were still working on budgetary things? Because the timeline here is very short to get done what they need to get done. Was that work still happening in the midst of those 3 weeks?
Well, I'm sure they were working internally inside their offices, maybe in private meetings among the members. They weren't holding any official meetings, official committee hearings, or anything like that. But I have no doubt they were trying to figure out what to do about the budget with the money that runs the government running out very soon.
I wanted to ask you something we haven't really had the opportunity to talk about with all of the other news coverage that we've been following here. Just really, really big news stories, of course, that are important ones to talk about. But I want to play you a clip from Representative Comer. Listen to this here.
If they had the darn document, they would have showed it. This is another example of their lies, and the media takes it, not Fox and not Fox Business, but they take it. They say, oh, well, that solves this question. This was a loan. They don't have any documentation to prove it, but they will produce something, Maria. They will pull something out of their rear end that says they had a loan.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, we proved that the money to pay Joe Biden came from an influence peddling scheme.
So I'm looking here on it's James Comer's, I guess, page on oversight.house.gov. And he published this on October 20th, 6 days ago. So this is old news, but at the same time, we haven't talked about it the way we should have. It says, House Committee on Oversight and Accountability Chairman James Comer from Kentucky today announced the committee obtained bank records revealing a $200,000 direct payment from James and Sarah Biden to Joe Biden in the form of a personal check. In September, Chairman Comer issued 3 subpoenas for Hunter and James Biden's personal and business bank records. What do we know about this particular payment? Because everything we've heard from the president himself is, I didn't know anything about the business dealings of Hunter Biden or any of his associates.
Well, what's important to also mention is that they found bank records indicating that the very same day, I think it was, that this $200,000 check was written and sent to Joe Biden. $200,000 came in from the Ukraine to Hunter Biden and his business associates. And, you know, they're now claiming, oh, this was just a loan. But I'm sorry, $200,000 comes in from Ukraine, is deposited, and immediately a $200,000 check using that money is then sent to Joe Biden. Come on. They really want us to believe that this wasn't a direct payment to Joe Biden. And what Comer was talking about was, you know, they're claiming, the Bidens had borrowed money from other members of the family, had borrowed money from Joe Biden, and this was paying them back. Well, they don't have any evidence to show that this was a loan. They're just saying that now.
Yeah, it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and they're trying to tell us it's a cow. Hans von Spakovsky with us right now. I want to shift gears a little bit because we've had multiple people, Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis, among others, who have pleaded guilty in that Georgia case, which is a state case. And that's the one where there are RICO charges against this whole group of co-conspirators. And a lot of people are worked up about the Jenna Ellis guilty plea, certainly on the left. And they say these ever-closing in walls are continuing to surround Donald Trump. What do you make of Jenna Ellis and her guilty plea?
Well, as you know, 3 of the lawyers who were targeted, Jenna Ellis just being the latest, have all pleaded guilty. Sidney Powell also, Ken Chesebro. No one should see these guilty pleas as somehow legitimating the spurious RICO charges that were been filed. Because if you look, contrast it this way, Annie, the indictment, those RICO charges, they are serious felonies. They are felonies that, if you're convicted, could spell life imprisonment for all of these defendants. And yet, what were the plea deals that this prosecutor agreed to? Sidney Powell gets to plead guilty to 6 misdemeanors, gets 1 year probation and a $6,000 fine. No jail time, $6,000, which is peanuts to a lawyer like her. Ken Chesebro gets 5 years of probation, 100 years of community service, $5,000 in fine, no jail time. Ellis, 5 years probation, $5,000 fine, no jail time. If these charges were so serious, why is this prosecutor basically letting these folks get off almost scot-free? And I'll tell you why. Because these are not serious charges, and she's taken what she can get. And why did these 3 agree to this? They're all lawyers. They don't want to lose their law licenses, which is how they earn income and make a living. And all of these plea deals were very carefully structured in a way that will allow them to keep their law licenses. And that's what's going on with these guilty pleas.
Hans, do we have reason to believe that, as you know, part of their guilty plea is that they'll testify? I understand that they'll answer questions more openly, of course. Does that look bad for Donald Trump in his portion of this case?
Well, I have a hard time it'll be bad for them because remember, all along throughout this, Powell and Ellis and everybody else were telling everybody that they believe the election had been stolen. What are they going to do now? Suddenly change their testimony and say, oh, well, secretly we were saying that the election really hadn't been stolen. I don't think anybody would believe them if they came up and said that, and I don't think they're going to swear under oath that they did that. I think they just took basically sweetheart deals to get out of this case. I mean, consider also the fact that they get out with no jail time, minor fines, and if they hadn't done this, I would estimate that they would have had to spend upwards of $250,000 minimum in attorney's fees to defend themselves in a case with a biased prosecutor and a biased jury.
Man, people are going to write some books and make some money after all of this is said and done, and I'll probably be one of them handing over mine. We appreciate you, Hans von Spakovsky. Thanks for being with us today. Good to talk to you.
Sure thing, anytime.
All right, sounds good. Senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former FEC commissioner and a DOJ lawyer. He's an author as well. You can check out Hans's books wherever you get your books from. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America, when we come back, he has another, it's like a foreboding warning from California, from my understanding. Although it's possible I could always misunderstand what Ryan Wiggins is doing. Let's find out together when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Privacy policy, terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Binges, blackouts, regret, shame, trying and failing to drink less or quit. Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of Or Health. I know how scary drinking too much can be because I struggled with alcohol misuse for most of my adult life. But I also know that it is possible to drink less or quit. And medication can help. Naltrexone is a safe, effective medication that makes it easier to cut back or quit drinking, so you don't have to rely on willpower alone. I started Or Health to make access to naltrexone convenient and private, to help people like me regain control over alcohol.
If you're ready to stop drinking or just drink less, text LESS to 323232 to get a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. Our licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment, and if medication is right for you, prescribe it online. We'll deliver your prescription right to your door. No doctor's office visits required. Text the word LESS to 323232 to get started today. That's LESS to 323232.
If you're looking at new windows for your house, choose wisely. Mark Cox here for my friends at Window World. You want to go with a company you can trust. Ranked #1 in the number of windows sold in the country. That's according to Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and obviously the thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in St. Louis. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts and the glass breakage and the labor. It's a good product. Call them at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate. That's 314-993-1800. Window World won the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval. That's not easy. They rely on the expertise of their in-house engineers and their analysts and their product experts to give that seal of approval. That should matter to you as well. Call for your free estimate right now. Simply the best for less at Window World. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Join Mosby Building Arts every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1 FM. Rich Orris and guests give insider tips about renovations, design, construction, exteriors, and more. Tune in to Right at Home with Rich on Saturdays or catch the podcast online.
If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
Okay, so we're past it now. Things are starting to clear up. The YouTube live chat poll of the day is about the speaker. Was the search for a new speaker ultimately a good thing? Yes or no? Let us know. Get your vote in right now, and also leave a comment there. We'll read those throughout the show, give you the results of the poll at the end of the show. The time right now, 12:46. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Connect with the personalities and give your feedback. 97.1 FM Talk is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For content that's additional to the radio, join us there. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I had a dream, we were sipping whiskey neat, highest floor of the Bowery, and I was high enough. Somewhere along the lines, we stopped seeing eye to eye. You were staying out all night, and I had enough. No, I don't wanna know where you've been or where you're going, but I know I won't be home, and you'll be on your own. Who's gonna walk you through the dark side of the morning?
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
I'm going to paint my nails during this segment. You okay with that?
I guess.
You just got to look completely disinterested while you're doing it.
I'm doing it like this. I'm not even going to get it on my nails.
Up,
I already did my toes. I did my toes before the show. I was sitting on the floor, and I don't think Brad knew what I was doing. He's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Are you?
I didn't know that. I did not know that's what you were doing.
I didn't think I needed to run it by you or that you would care to know, so I kept it to
I
myself.
just wanted to make sure you were okay.
Yep, that's Brad.
I'm glad you ran it by me.
Yep. You okay with that?
Well, I like my ladies to be very put together, so yeah, I'm okay with that.
That is neither here nor there because I am not your lady.
I figured that was coming next.
I'm your lady, and you are not my man.
No, ma'am.
That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Not your...
We can argue about whether or not you're okay with it for about maybe 60 more seconds because I'll be done then. Go on.
Okay. What color? I can't see. So
the color is specifically supposed to be as close to my skin color as possible because my nails are bad.
So it's supposed to make your nails look like part of your finger, like a big fleshy extension of the rest of your finger?
It's supposed to make it so my nails don't attract your attention.
Okay.
Which is the opposite of what we're doing here.
Yeah, you're doing a great job of it.
On the radio.
Yeah. All
How
right.
my nails look, guys? Thanks.
Here is the subject of Wiggins America today.
Okay.
Well, there's my sweeper playing, but can't hear it, so don't worry about it. So
Whoosh.
This is about, yeah. Hey.
Oh.
So this is about California. All these things are maybe warnings out of California for the rest of America. But what happens in America happens first in California, all too often. Start with the headline.
Mm-hmm.
California governor visits China and says his state will always be a partner on climate change.
I could have told you that. He didn't have to go there.
Thank you for doing this, Mr. Mr. Newsom, Governor Newsom.
You know what makes me mad about Gavin Newsom?
No.
He doesn't have an E on the end of his name.
That is frustrating.
It always feels like he's not finished.
It's like making a double quarter pounder with cheese without cheese.
Or, yeah, it just is not.
Or bread.
I can't really argue with that.
attempting to
I just want to go on the record and say if Ryan would have said that, I'd have dunked on him for it.
I did say that.
No, the quarter pounder with cheese thing?
Oh, okay. So Brad says it's okay.
Just seemed it was pretty random.
Yeah. I agree with that. But
Just
you know
sounds
what?
like something you'd say, and I'd go, I have nowhere to go.
Brad's
from here.
just a nice guy,
He
so
is.
you got to support him no
He
matter
just
what he does.
Cares how we're all doing all the time.
Attempting to
Make sure you're
reinforce
okay.
the state's role as a global leader on climate change, Newsom began his visit with a climate-themed discussion at the University of Hong Kong.
What do you think it's like in those meetings after the United States walks out talking to you about climate change?
They
What
wait
do you-
till the door shuts,
and then
give it
how's
10
it-
seconds,
how's it
and
go
they all
down?
start laughing.
They all start just burning coal in the room.
Yeah, and lighting American
another-
dollars on and lighting cigarettes with them. He says, I just got to get this quote in before I get to the rest of these. Quote, I want you to know, regardless of what happens nationally, subnationally, you have a partner in the state of California. It's just reassuring.
It's just trying to-
Yeah.
California, like, detests Florida.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll give you Florida for China.
Yeah.
We like them better. We know. That's the problem.
Yeah. You know what? I really can't stand that Florida, but you have a friend in me, China.
Newsom sure seems to love him some China.
Hands
Maybe
and
he will
Newsom.
stay. Just stay over there. You're clearly more happy there. Just you live your life there because you think they're doing it better.
So, meanwhile, while he's in China, nearly naked prostitutes prowl streets in broad daylight, but California law ties police's hands.
I need more information.
Women wearing only G-strings while bending over in front of traffic.
Why'd you say it like that?
I don't know. I feel bad saying it.
Don't say it.
It's the article. I got to read it.
You picked the story.
I know, but it's important to know. This is happening in America right now.
This is 100% your call.
But we need to know these things, but they make me uncomfortable that they
specific
exist.
sentence that you just said needed to be said on our show.
While bending over in front of traffic
Okay, no,
has become an increasingly common sight in National City, California,
What's
as
a G-string?
prostitution issues spiral after the implementation of a controversial state law. The city's mayor said to Fox News Digital, they're waving to people on the freeway, or just to be honest with you, they're bending over for the freeway. And I don't know how else to put it, but they're showing their wares. National City Mayor Ron Morrison told Fox News Digital.
Is this like a state of California tourism marketing plan?
This is real. This is really happening. The mayor of this city is saying, we got some problems here. It comes after Gavin Newsom signed Senate Bill 357 in July, which repealed a previous law that banned loitering with the intent to engage in prostitution. So there's a law on the books. Was that prevented people from standing there to engage in prostitution. Gavin Newsom and the California legislature saw fit to repeal that law for who knows what reason. The law took effect in January this year.
Because underclothed prostitutes are people too, Ryan.
I didn't think about
They need to make
that.
a living.
Morrison, the mayor of National City, California, said the minute the pen of Gavin Newsom touched this bill, pimps in the state knew they could expand their prostitution ventures with little repercussions from law enforcement. He said the minute that was signed, boom, everyone knew these rules were out the window, and it has run rampant throughout
What
his
rules
city.
do exist in California at this time?
Well, if you'd like to know, here's a rule they're trying to implement right now. California, here's a rule, may start limiting landscaping near your house.
Oh, that's about time.
Right?
It's getting in the way of the prostitution.
Yeah, in 2020, you can't just come up to your house so easily if you got bushes there.
It's a dry climate.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of succulents, can be prickly at times, and if you're wearing no pants, that's problematic.
Yep.
You're the one who told me that, so
Well, thank you. You've summarized it well. In 2020, California lawmakers passed a bill to create an ember-resistant zone within 5 feet of residences, known as Zone 0, in case wildfire threats increased. Now, authorities are using that law to work on rules that could ban any vegetation within 5 feet of your house, according to NPR. However, the news outlet noted that there's been quite a bit of pushback. Some guy who is the California Fire's Wildfire Preparedness Mitigation Assistant Deputy Director.
That sounds fancy.
Yeah, Frank Bigelow.
Why don't you? What? That's not real.
Said, no, this is real. He says most people who are compliant now may not be compliant. He cites his own parents, and then they went and interviewed the guy's parents. Bigelow's father said, "The heck it is. We paid a lot of money to have that landscaping done. I'm not moving that." This is the dad of the California Community Wildfire Preparedness Mitigation Deputy Director. So apparently there's a lot of pushback on this law because, people don't want to be overruled by everything. Literally everything possible. California is trying to litigate.
Except for actual crime.
Yes. We need to loosen the restrictions on prostitution. Also, just last one real quick. Their driverless taxi tests are not going real well. They just had to shut down one of the companies called Cruise LLC, at least temporarily, because they said, we got too many problems. Little twist, though. In the article, I was looking for what are the problems. The only ones I could find from the San Francisco Standard is that one of these cars hit a dog.
Oh,
that's not a little problem. That's a big problem.
But that happens with drivers.
But
it's
the
not just
dog
driverless cars.
had shrubs around its doghouse, so it was
Yeah,
okay.
but it was wearing a G-string.
So it's very conflicting. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah,
the dog
I
was
don't know.
walking on all fours, looked like it was bending over, and we're all thinking that's a good dog.
National City Mayor pointed at the dog and said, "Not in my town."
Who's a good dog? This is weird.
It is weird.
How come this is always weird?
I don't know. I kind of like living there, Annie.
Yeah.
How's your nails?
I think they look great.
Good. I
Because
can't
they're
even tell
hidden
that they're
now.
there.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Tyrus, when we come back, don't go away.
17 summer nights and the libertines, never growing up.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-775-5622. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-775-5622. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-775-5622. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The White House calling on Congress to act. Lisa Brady, Fox News, after the mass shooting that left 18 dead in Lewiston, Maine.
Once again, routine gatherings, this time at a bowling alley and a restaurant, have been turned into scenes of horrific carnage.
Vice President Kamala Harris during a state luncheon for the visiting Australian Prime Minister. President Biden in a written statement earlier saying this level of gun violence is not normal and cannot be accepted. A manhunt continues for the suspect in Maine, 40-year-old Robert Card, an Army reservist and firearms instructor who reportedly had mental health treatment just a few months ago.
This attack strikes at the very heart of who we are and the values we hold dear for this precious place we call home.
Governor Janet Mills says the state will heal together. In addition to the 18 killed in last night's shootings, 13 are injured, 3 of them in critical condition. More U.S. aid for Ukraine from the president's drawdown authority.
The Pentagon announced a new $150 million aid package for Ukraine. It includes Stinger anti-aircraft missiles, additional ammunition for HIMARS, munitions for National Advanced Surface-to-Air Missile Systems, and 155-millimeter artillery rounds, which are in even higher demand now after Israel was attacked.
We have been working closely with industry, not only in the United States, but working with our allies and partners and their defense industrial base to look at ramping up production of 155.
But earlier this week, Pentagon spokesman Brigadier General Pat Ryder also noted that the president has asked for additional funding, which would help aid Israel, Ukraine, and replenish our own stockpiles.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Meantime, National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says the U.S. is in constant contact with Israel, but he stopped short of saying whether Israel is heeding calls to follow the rules of war in Gaza. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
At Simply Safe, our 24/7 lifeguard protection helps stop crime in real time because during a break-in, every second counts, and these days, every dollar counts. Right now, get 45% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. It's U.S. News and World Report's best home security of 2023. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Summertime in late October continues. A mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. A couple of showers around 78. Tonight, clouds and showers, 65. Friday, partly sunny, windy and warm. Some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. 82 on Friday. Cold front comes through Friday night. Showers and thunderstorms, 48 degrees. Much colder over the weekend with still plenty of rain. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Conservatives Care is honored to support Kelsey's Hope Foundation, supporting children with cancer and their families. Annie here, 97.1 FM Talk is proud to support Kelsey's Hope. Give back at the Tree of Hope Gala on November 18th. Learn more at 971talk.com/care.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
STL Today is named Under Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm. We'll continue to make a difference, one case at a time.
When you're injured, call Under Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Your business is not running at 100% efficiency. Nobody's does. So what do you need help with to fill in the gaps? Networking, marketing, social media, maybe secure some funding for expansion. Whatever it is, you're going to find it at the St. Louis Business Expo and Growth Conference, the largest B2B event in Missouri. Block off November 8th on your calendar and be at the St. Charles Convention Center for free seminars, vendors, and the largest speed networking event in town. Admission is free, but you got to RSVP at stlexpo.com. stlexpo.com.
If you're trying to sell your home, there's only one group of agents in town I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Check out thegelmanteam.com.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
This has been a journey we've been on for quite a while. It's been because we've been indoctrinated by termites. Ideological termites called Marxists. And this has been going on for a long time. The reason why I've been so excited about being part of this solutions of education is that we've seen our country, our kids are coming out literally hating everyone. We've dealt with the last couple of years of blacks hating whites, having their own dormitories, having their own graduations. This is an outgrowth. I had no idea how bad it was getting until when I would see how heartless our kids are.
So it was Congressman Burgess Owens talking about this dynamic that we have from people who are being educated in these universities. And he went on to say this.
I grew up in a generation. My dad came back from World War II. And not only did they go out and fight evil, they came back and built a remarkable middle class and then went out and helped those countries that used to be our enemies to become our friends. Their heart was all about helping, delivering service. We have a group of kids coming out today that have no heart. They deny evil, they applaud evil. That is not the American way. So it comes down to us is we have to make sure that the outcomes are much better than they have been. We have to hold these colleges accountable. If they cannot give us a good product, those who love our country, love others, go out there and produce, we need to make sure we're pulling back funds.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Well, Tyrus, he's a co-host of the Tyrus and Tim podcast. You see him on Gutfeld, Fox News contributor, author of the book that's coming out very soon. Enough said joins us now. Tyrus, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show.
Always a pleasure.
You know, Burgess Owens said that phrase, kids these days, and I find myself at 39 years old saying kids these days as a parent myself. And what he's talking about there is so important for us to address, is the way we're educating kids through our higher education to come out. Don't you feel like we are putting people in a position to hate everywhere they look?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think here's the thing, is he made a great point about the funding. I think elite schools like Harvard and Yale that are turning out these American-hating, all white people are oppressors, I think the first thing the schools should do, since that's their route, then they shouldn't take oppressors' money. They shouldn't take taxpayer money. They make enough off tuition. They have giant trust funds and savings accounts with millions and millions and millions of dollars of American kids' money who sought a higher education. I think the reason why kids are able to do this, and it's not these kids, it's also these adults teaching these kids. We've had with the exception of 9/11, it's been a pretty safe place to be in America. And this now, the negative side effects is that people choose to do attention-seeking behavior like this or make crazy statements because there's no consequences. They've been able to avoid consequences at every turn. You make a false allegation against somebody, there's no consequences. You loot a store, if it's under $900, whatever, there's no consequences. So it's not necessarily these kids, it's that they were being groomed and they've been taught this mindset, this narrative. And the only way to unbreak them is for them to experience real life consequences. The kids that rip down the signs of the pictures of the hostages, like, they should be expelled from school. I mean, this isn't difficult. If this was kids glorifying the Klan, there wouldn't even be an issue.
Yeah.
And the Klan is not as much of a threat as Hamas is. But yet there's no, but they try to change it, and it's because they don't have to make sense. It's their feelings, and feelings are more important than facts and education. So that's the problem. I think we just need to, if these schools are going to do that, then cut off funding, let them support themselves. That they don't have to raise tuition. So at least when these kids are paying for their gender studies degree, and they have to spend, $200,000 or $300,000 for it, and realize that it can't get you a job as a manager at Boston Market, maybe those consequences will change their thought process.
We're speaking with Tyrus, and you see him all over Fox News. Check out his book, Nuff Said. You can pre-order that right now. I always think following the money is the most telling thing that you can do. And it's always interesting to me how the cost of education only ever goes up. People used to say, I was the first in my family to graduate college. Mike Johnson said that in his speaker acceptance speech yesterday, and how that was a big point of pride, because that means something. But what is the purpose of university today? It really doesn't seem to be to create employers and employees. It seems to be indoctrination. And on top of that, we see all of this money funneling into the higher education system, but the cost to purchase that education always goes higher, and those people on the left side of government go in there and promise to help cover that for you or just wipe all the debt away, like they really, really, really need these kids, even though they're not getting a whole lot of it, to keep going to college.
Well, we just look at, the people who are filling the jobs that are from these schools. Apparently our press secretary can't understand English in questions anymore. There's just no accountability. They rather lie. Pulling a fire alarm, and you said you didn't know it said fire alarm on it. You can't read fire alarm. It's just they do things, and they think they can say, well, I felt it was this or that, and there's no consequences. So you cut off the funding to these universities, and suddenly those deans will care more. And this pushing this, we're on the brink possibly of World War III. And here's the thing. The one thing war does is it kills all the noise of all the first world problems. They go up in smoke. Suddenly your preferred pronoun doesn't matter anymore. What gender you decide to be on any given afternoon for attention-seeking or a chance to be on Dr. Phil doesn't matter anymore. So when we might just get a real dose of the world in this particular generation. Luckily, there's ones ahead of it that are still able to carry the fight and run things. They will fall apart. We'll see more videos of people crying about having to work 8 hours at Starbucks. So, we just have to look at what it is. It's a spoiled brat group. And the only way to break it is by giving them consequences for their actions. If you choose to sign a petition saying that that you support Hamas in Palestine and what happened in Israel, you should be treated the same as if you support lynchings. If you support the Klan, it should be the exact same treatment.
When the Black Lives Matter movement became a political movement, not really just a sentence, Black Lives Matter, there was a lot of money poured into that, and there was a lot of influence that was gained because of it. And people started saying, I think all lives matter. So basically what those people who are contrasting the Black Lives Matter political movement were saying, it's more complicated than just saying Black Lives Matter when you're putting political power and money behind it, that everybody's life matters. And when I see people trying to defend Israel and stating the dire need to stand up and say Israel and Jewish people have the right to exist, for some reason now those same people who are like, don't even breathe the words all lives matter, want to say, it's complicated. There's Hamas, but there's also the Palestinian people. And we need to understand that all civilian lives matter here, not just Jewish people. The way they turn on a dime to make the political words that we speak always benefit them. I feel like the only way it's going to stop is if people that have some common sense left in their system stand up and have to put an end to it here, stateside, because this has global implications.
Well, that's the thing about liars, and that's the thing about con men and feelings. You can attach them to any subject because you don't have to make sense, and you don't have to. That's the problem with being a truth teller or dealing with facts is it's tough to connect things because you have to follow the money or you have to follow the story where it goes, not where you want it to go. When it's your narrative, you can say Black Lives Matters, but let's be honest, it was only Black Lives Matters when it was a financial advantage to them, which means it had to be a situation where a person of color was wrongfully arrested or attacked by a police officer. Oh, and it had to be a white police officer. That was the narrative. That was the thing that they wanted us to think was happening every 20 seconds on every corner of every street. And the virtue signaling and the lazy Americans, instead of researching it and seeing what's real and what's not real, they just dumped money on it. And all they did was they made a small group of people who happened to be black a lot of money. None of it was turned over to Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter didn't matter to the people who founded it. Their lives mattered. And they used black people, and I talk about as their camouflage, because, again, I'd love to see how many schools they built. Well, here's a perfect example. LeBron James, a single person who we don't agree on a lot of things, politically or whatever, but he built a school. He did something for his community, and not just black kids, people in his community in general. We don't have one story from Black Lives Matter. It's a complete con game. It's no different than the other con games. It's just they use our skin color. But that's the Democratic Party. That's how they work. And I think with this, the one thing that came out with this situation in Israel, the Democrats showed their, my grandmother would call it something different. They showed their behinds, and they're seeing what they really stand for. And, and they've been able to, their goal is to keep people in the illusion that they need them and keeping them in a certain place. And that's what they're doing with this. The problem they're so about Palestine is because you have no way of measuring this. And just assuming that the Palestinians are completely against Hamas is silly as assuming that all German people were against Nazis. Like you need to look at things from a real perspective. And if Hamas represents Palestine, which they do politically, and they choose to commit an act of war beyond an act of war, an act of barbarianism against another country, then it should be all fingers pointing at Hamas. Look what you've done. Look what your actions have led to. They should be protesting Hamas if they really cared about people. They could protest Hamas and care about Palestinians who are not part of Hamas, who happen to live with them, and they could also care about the people in Israel who were slain mercilessly. But again, that makes sense. There's no money in it, and you're probably not going to get on a TV show, or your TikTok video is not going to get as many likes unless you take an extreme view and cite half-truths and ignorant stuff like that. They're the oppressors. They're this, they're that. They don't know the stories. They don't know the actual facts of anything. They just read sound bites on Twitter, and they're so-called experts. Because whenever you ask them to explain their thing, people can't explain feelings, and if you ask them, they get aggressive. Yeah. And as soon as you ask them to explain, then all of a sudden you're phobic, and you're this, and you're that, you're racist. They throw these words at you, which is what every ignorant person does when they get caught.
Yeah. You can see them real fast. Yeah.
the cheating spouse, like you had an affair. That's because you ignored me. It's everyone else's fault. You chose to take those actions. And that's what we're dealing with. And they'll just and until we start holding them accountable, if you're going to support Hamas, and that's what you're doing by walking these streets, and you're supporting a terrorist group, there should be consequences, just like there would be for all those men that were walking, "We will not be replaced." It's the same thing. And it should be treated the same with the same consequences. A lot of those guys are on that video chanting, "You will not replace us." We're replaced at their workplaces. We're embarrassed publicly. So let the saviors pass on. Just because you're brown doesn't mean you get to. One thing about America is that it's a free place, but also we expect everyone to do their part. And when they commit crimes and when they do terrible things or say terrible things, you're held accountable. That's how it works. And they want to be terrible things with no accountability.
Before I let you go, how close you mentioned there, like once war breaks out, that those first world problems go out the window real fast. I mean, how deep are we in first world problems in America right now?
Just the fact of the behaviors we've seen over the last couple of weeks shows that we have a real disconnect with what's really going on in the world and what's really important. And people are spoiled and they say things just to say them. I'm pro-Palestine. I think probably the best one was non-binaries, or another one was queer for Palestine signs they made. They went in London, a group of LGBTQ extremists showed up with pride flags to walk the streets with Palestinians, to support Palestinians and Hamas. Their flags were ripped down. They were chased. Like, they just don't get it. And that was some real life. It got real quick, and they were shocked that no one else, that they're literally supporting a side who doesn't think they should be allowed to breathe air. That makes zero sense. You're not going to see me walking around posting up a Klan flag supporting them because they're oppressed by modern day America, because they won't let them have their way or build their white supremacist way of life. And if I showed up their meeting, I don't think I would get a free ticket to the open bar.
Nice warm welcome. Yeah, it's so true. Tyrus, we appreciate you. I want to encourage people to check out Enough Said. What's the actual official release date for the book?
November 17th.
All right. Well, get in there and get your pre-order today. We always appreciate you coming on with us, Tyrus. Thanks for being here today.
Yep. Have a great day.
Yep. You as well. Bye-bye. Tyrus, he is on Gutfeld. He's a Fox News contributor. He is the co-host of the Tyrus and Timph, that's Cat Timph, podcast. And he's the author of Nuff Said, which is available for pre-order right now. Go say hi to him on Twitter at Planet Tyrus. Let's take a quick break. Dory Murdoch shifted from Wednesday to Thursday for this week, and we're going to talk to him about his column in the Daily Caller. Joe Biden is the greatest gift ever to Iran's Ayatollahs. Well, what's he mean by that? We'll ask him in a minute. Don't go away.
And I didn't want to write a song, cause I didn't want
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
And I think it should be something I don't want to hold back. Maybe you should know that my mama don't like you and she likes everyone. And I never like to admit that I was wrong. And I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on, but now I know I'm better sleeping on my own. Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself.
Gateway ENT online at gatewaydoctors.com. That's gatewaydrs.com. Reach out to them to take care of that ear, nose, or throat concern that you've been dealing with. Maybe this season, maybe forever, maybe it got worse in your adult years. And if you got kiddos, they see kids as well. Gateway ENT is accepting new patients, which means when you call 314-843-3828, they're going to be able to get you in. And they're going to be able to get you in pretty fast. My husband has gone to Gateway ENT and sees one of the ENTs there for a sinus issue, something that causes him to sleep. When he sleeps, his breathing is off, and he has a lot of drainage and stuff in the morning that he has to go through. It's very problematic for him. And honestly, he's dealt with it the majority of time that I've known my husband, but it's gotten worse in the last 5 or 6 years. He's gone to Gateway ENT, and they're getting to the bottom of this issue with him. 314-843-3828 to make an appointment. Tell him the Annie Frey Show sent you, and go with one of the oldest private practice ear, nose, and throat groups in the region. You can find them online as well by visiting them at gatewaydrs.com.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi. The whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And did we mention it's aluminum free? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 500 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 500. LUME deodorant.com, code 500 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 500.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Single-family houses and apartments are the key to passive income, a.k.a. retirement. No one knows this better than America's most successful investor educator, self-made multimillionaire, and CEO of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley. You've heard Del and his team on the radio. Now join the Lifestyles Unlimited team on location in St. Louis, November 4th and 5th. Financial Freedom Seminar. Check the schedule and claim your seat now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Over the course of 16 hours, we take you step by step, A to Z, on how to successfully invest in both single-family and multifamily properties. This is a complete class, not one of those teaser seminars. It's designed to teach you everything you need to know to purchase single-family and multifamily investment properties using our roadmap on your own from day one. Our team of expert educators and mentors want to meet you for 2 days of life-changing education. Get your lifestyle now. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Sign up now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Attorney General of Missouri, Andrew Bailey.
Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals found that these are the worst First Amendment violations in this nation's history. We've got to put a stop to it. We are fighting Biden's vast censorship enterprise all the way to the highest court in the land.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
She said it's cold outside and she hands me my raincoat. She's always worried about things like that. Well, she said it's all gonna end and it might as well be my fault. And she only sleeps when it's raining. And she screams, and her voice is strange. She says, baby.
How many American troops were injured, and what was the extent of those injuries?
No, Willie, I can't give you an exact number. Really, DOD would have to, the Department of Defense would have to give that to you. What happens with some of these rocket attacks, Willie, is that sometimes the injuries don't manifest themselves, particularly if it's TBI-related brain injuries. You don't manifest yourself. The soldier doesn't report symptoms until maybe hours or even a couple of days after the event, and so that's why the number fluctuates a little bit. What I can tell you is that all these injuries are not life-threatening, and that many of these soldiers who were injured are back on duty right now. But TBI, traumatic brain injury, is a factor. Concussive effect of these rocket attacks can be significant.
Well, Willie Geist from MSNBC is talking to Kirby there, and he can't get an exact number of the United States troops that have been hurt by Iran-backed terrorist attacks. Listening to this president, I've said this each time he's spoken, it seems as though the president has been given good words to say. In the moment, when he gets the camera and he gets the microphone, he backs Israel. He seems to say the right things. But you look everywhere around him, and all you see is those words. Because the actions behind what need to take place to show American strength and prove to the rest of the world that we are not to be messed with, the policies of this administration are aggressively contradictory to the words that I've heard the president speak, that I'm like, okay, I could get behind that. Let's talk to our friend Deroy Murdock about it. He is a nationally syndicated columnist and a Fox News contributor with an article out in the Daily Caller right now about how President Biden has been handling this. Deroy, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Good to have you here.
Andy, it's great to talk to you.
When you listen to the president speak, I was actually kind of surprised at how his speeches were really taking the words and putting them in the right order for the most part. There wasn't anything that I was jaw dropped. I can't believe he just said that. But there's not a lot of policy and action behind what he has said so far.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think most of the speeches he's given since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th have pointed out the moral clarity of the evil of Hamas and also stood by our friends and allies in Israel, and all that's been great. But as you say, the policy doesn't necessarily follow. I think what's really closer to what you see as the reality under Biden are the words of Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Meet the Press on October 8th. And I'll just read you what he said, which is incredible. Quote, Iran has unfortunately always used and focused its funds on supporting terrorism, on supporting groups like Hamas. And it's done that when there have been sanctions. It's done that when there haven't been sanctions. And it's always prioritized that. So here you have the Secretary of State pointing out the obvious, that Iran is a very active and aggressive and robust supporter of terrorism. And so as a consequence, you would think the United States would be trying to cut off all money and starve this vicious cobra that's attacking our friends in Israel. And you find that they are either fighting or at least not going along with congressional efforts to try to freeze those $6 billion in ransom payments that were paid when we got those 5 hostages back in that prisoner exchange about maybe a month ago. So they don't really seem to want to do that. And then it's so much worse. The refusal to, not refusal, but basically the effort to dismantle President Trump's sanctions on the sale of oil on the part of Iran, sale of steel, sale of petroleum products, special drawing rights at the International Monetary Fund. If you add up all that stuff plus the ransom money, we're talking about $77 billion, billion in money that essentially Joe Biden has made available to the mullahs in Iran, the Ayatollahs who've been sponsoring Hamas, sponsoring Hezbollah. They've attacked the United States' troops and positions in the Middle East, something like 20 times, I think it is, since about the time Hamas started its war on Israel, and something like maybe 80 to 100 or something like this since Joe Biden came to office, with very, very few repercussions or reaction or anything like this. So the message to Iran is basically, look, the words are a little bit threatening, but the actions are, if nothing else, probably encouraging to what Iran is trying to do, which is nothing good.
Dory, you can't overlook, or one can't overlook, the contrast between how Donald Trump handled Iran and how Obama and Biden administrations have handled Iran. What is it about Iran that the Biden administration and the Obama administration wanted to cozy up to so much? I don't think I get it.
I think we see two things here. The more innocent explanation is that Joe Biden is following the model of Neville Chamberlain, which worked so well when Great Britain basically folded like picnic tables in front of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis when they wanted to take over Czechoslovakia. At the Munich conference, they said, well, let's just give Hitler Czechoslovakia. That'll calm him down. And, of course, within a year, he invaded Poland and World War II began. And the idea among Bidens is, hey, let's just be nice to Iran. Let's try to get back into the Iran nuclear deal. Let them sell oil. Let them sell steel. Let them do whatever they want, and they'll be nice. And this works about as well as the whole defund the police movement. Let's be nice to criminals, and they'll be nice to us, and they'll go into real estate or insurance and just stop, robbing us and killing us and raping us. Well, guess what? It doesn't work that way. The nicer you are to the criminals, the nastier they are to us. And this is certainly true of international criminals and terrorists like those in Iran. The more nefarious explanation for all this is that there's a man named Robert Malley who was the administration's top negotiator rather, with Iran on the Iran nuclear deal. He recently has had his security clearances stripped from him because of inappropriate use of documents and basically a very cozy attitude towards Iran. So he's more or less neutralized, I guess, if he can't get his hands on classified data. But he's got other deputies of his who are very pro-Iran, very pro-Ayatollah, and they're still in the government. Some of them are the Pentagon as we speak, carrying on and doing their jobs. And these people, as far as I can tell, appear to be sort of almost an Iranian spy network within the Biden administration. This reminds me of Alger Hiss and the people in Washington, D.C. under Truman and Eisenhower, who were more or less Soviet spies. And I don't see an effort to try to get these people out of office, remove them, neutralize them, or what have you. And you have a whole cadre of people in Washington, D.C., who are basically a pro-Iran fifth column, and it's terrifying. I think that's one of the reasons you're getting so much policy that's completely in tune with the intentions of the Ayatollahs.
We're speaking with Deroy Murdock, a nationally syndicated columnist.
a Fox News contributor. Deroy, we were just speaking with another one of our friends and Fox News contributor, Tyrus, who joins us every Thursday. And we were talking about first world problems. And to me, this administration, the Biden administration right now, is obsessed with first world problems. And, from a talk radio show position, or, maybe when you're contributing here and there, you can have those discussions at any time about the first world problems and our perspectives on them. But we have to think globally in the positioning of America. And the Biden administration doesn't seem to be rooted, feet firmly planted on solid ground about the things that aren't first world problems that happen in third world countries or in places like Israel, where third world mentalities, brutality, religious jihad comes into effect and doesn't quite fit comfortably into the first world social media filtered existence that this administration and a lot of America has right now.
I think you're right about this. The administration's busy with pronouns and gender studies and people being misgendered. People in the Pentagon are spending lots of time less focused on military readiness and unit cohesion, and a lot more time focusing on, what the proper pronouns are, and making sure that nobody feels uncomfortable if somebody says something unusual and all that. And meanwhile, Hamas and Hezbollah are not worried about such niceties. They're lobbing rockets at our friends in Israel and trying to kill as many Jews as they can. And that's really where we ought to be putting our attention. And, once we have world peace and we have peace in the Middle East, everything's lovely, then we can go back and as you say, go back to first world problems and worry about, he, her, they, them, sure, we're, however you pronounce these things. We don't really have the time for these sorts of luxuries when it looks like we're careening towards World War III. So let's try to be adults and focus on the real stuff that's important, and not the frilly, attractive, clickbait which the administration seems to be devoting its time and energy.
Which is really ironic, Deroy, because when the Biden administration was sworn in and taking over, we were told that the adults were back in charge and that the adults were in the room. And it feels as though that this has been the junior high administration, and they all got elected to student council and they came into high school and they are not ready for prime time. And here we are sitting in the midst of potentially, like on the doorstep of World War III, going, we need, to use the Obama term, we don't need the JV squad out here. We need varsity, and I don't know if we got it.
This is absolutely right. We were told that Joe Biden would come in, return normalcy, everything would be calm, everything would be focused. Here's a man who'd been in Washington, D.C. for the better part of 50 years, former chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and Donald Trump and his crazy people, they all go back to, New York City and do real estate or whatever, and let the grown-ups run things. Well, guess what? The grown-ups have been there for about 2.5 years, and you've got our former U.S. border. I call it dead. It was born in 1848 and died in 2021. The U.S.-Mexico border is gone. Ukraine and Russia are involved in this endless sort of standoff in Eastern Europe. You've got China on the move. I think just recently, this week, some Chinese military boats smacked into some Philippine fishing vessels just to, show them who's in charge in the South China Sea. And then you've got, a three-front, or two, if not three-front war against Israel, and maybe an even wider regional conflict in the Middle East that could suck us in with the Russians, the Chinese, and as you say, then we're at World War III. So this is what the grown-ups have given us. And if this is what the grown-ups do for us, I can't wait for the children to come back in charge after November of 2024.
And
let's bring the kids back.
Yeah, how ironic, too, that while we were told that the grown-ups were going to be back in the room when Biden got elected, do you remember all the promises they made about how the world was going to fall apart when Donald Trump was the president and all of the terrible things that were going to happen? And then they didn't. I mean, if it truly is Biden-Trump in 2024, how can anybody look at these two administrations and say we need more of the current?
Yeah, I mean, the grown-ups have brought us to as you say, to the brink of World War III, where we are today. And the children brought us 4 Middle East peace agreements under the Abraham Accords. Iran more or less keeping calm after President Trump dropped a big fat drone on Qasem Soleimani, the terror master of Iran. We had a free trade agreement with Canada and Mexico. The border was not stitched completely, not watertight, but boy, it's about 1/3 as many people coming across the borders before. In terms of terrorists, there's another terrifying aspect. I think we had about something like 11 or 12 people on the terrorist watch list come across the border while President Trump was in the White House. Under Biden, that number is about 270. I mean, it's like it's like, I don't know, 17x or something crazy like this. It's an enormous number, and God forbid if these people get a phone call from their terror masters in Iran saying, okay, go ahead and implement Operation Gringo, whatever it is, and start blowing up airports or train stations or restaurants or movie houses or whatever it is. These people are over here. I really hope they stay calm. If they get instructions from somebody in the Iranian intelligence services saying, hey, go to work and start killing the infidels, it could get very, very ugly over here very, very quickly.
Well, we're going to stay on it. We're going to keep putting the pressure on. And Dory, we always appreciate your time with us each week here on the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being with us again.
You bet. Thank you, Annie. Be well.
You too. Bye-bye. The nationally syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor, Deroy Murdock, on with us today. We're going to take a quick break. And in the 2 o'clock hour, I've got a little Halloween, take it or leave it, a little departure from the news. Unless, of course, breaking news happens. That manhunt is still underway for that active shooter that was in Maine, has taken a minimum 18 lives. And so we're watching that. No developments in the news cycle on that one. So we got it all here. Don't go away. We'll be back in a minute.
She's got a little bit of something. God, it's better than nothing.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
She swears the moon don't hang quite as high as it used to. And she only sleeps when it's raining. And she screams, and her voice is strange. She says, baby.
Air Comfort Service is committed to keeping you in your comfort zone, or maybe even getting you back into your comfort zone. Weather is weird in St. Louis right now. I think weather is actually weird in St. Louis all the time, but we're used to it. If it were normal, we wouldn't know what to do. Air Comfort Service is there to make sure that whatever your comfort zone is, in whatever season it is, that you can easily attain it. And they have done that for the Frey family, for sure. I want to talk to you about the whole house humidifier. We have one of these in my home. It was installed by Air Comfort Service, and it's taken away our need to have the big clunky humidifiers on in the main floor and upstairs where our bedrooms are, to keep my son from getting nosebleeds, to keep us from having to use lotion all the time for dry, cracked skin. Air Comfort Service comes in and puts this whole home humidifier, and it just makes your comfort zone that much more attainable. If you've been thinking about an HVAC system that you need to replace or maintenance that you need to have done, 314-513-0091. That's the number to call, and tell them what your concerns are. They can give you guidance. They can connect you with cool cash carrier rebates to help make it more affordable, great financing options. It's free to call, and your comfort zone is just one phone call away. 314-513-0091, online at aircomfortservice.com.
How would you like to make no mortgage payments until next year? Are you tired of making minimum payments on high-interest credit cards? Is student loan repayment giving you the blues? Your home equity is at an all-time high. Use that equity to save hundreds every month. Call 314-567-GOLD now and give yourself a payment break. That's 314-567-GOLD. Or visit goldenoaklending.com. NMLS 114937.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
Binges, blackouts, regret, shame, trying and failing to drink less or quit. Hi, I'm Jonathan, founder of Or Health. I know how scary drinking too much can be because I struggled with alcohol misuse for most of my adult life. But I also know that it is possible to drink less or quit. And medication can help. Naltrexone is a safe, effective medication that makes it easier to cut back or quit drinking, so you don't have to rely on willpower alone. I started Or Health to make access to Naltrexone convenient and private, to help people like me regain control over alcohol.
If you're ready to stop drinking or just drink less, text LESS to 323232 to get a secure link to Or Health's private online assessment. Our licensed medical professionals will evaluate your assessment, and if medication is right for you, prescribe it online. We'll deliver your prescription right to your door. No doctor's office visits required. Text the word LESS to 323232 to get started today. That's LESS to 323232.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month approved vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
It looks like wood, it feels like wood, but it's maintenance free. It's luxurious James Hardie siding. And during Banner Construction's 30th anniversary, get same as cash financing on James Hardie and Pella windows and have a banner day.
The poll today is about everything we've gone through for the last 3 weeks regarding the Speaker of the House. Was the search for a new speaker ultimately a good thing? Yes or no? That's the subject of the poll. Get on the Annie Frey Show YouTube page and let us know what you think and leave a comment. We'll give you the results at the end of the show today. The time right now, 1:44. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Critical thinking in critical times. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Everyone is welcome. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Frey Show. You want to talk? Okay, here's the question. We've got the YouTube poll to talk about, which is, was the search for a new speaker ultimately a good thing? I have Halloween, take it or leave it, but we have Annie, are you okay at 2:25 with Trisha?
Halloween, take it or leave it.
Because I was thinking I said I do Halloween, take it or leave it 2 o'clock, but I kind of feel like we should spread out the fun.
Yeah, I do too.
We'll have to run it by Leah.
We got an extra minute here in this segment than we usually do too, so
we have to.
We have time to do it if we want to.
Argue more, Leah.
Let's talk about this for a minute, and then let's bring Leah in. Let's talk about it a little bit more.
Leah, he's stalling. Hurry.
And then let's figure out what our conclusion is at about 1:56.
What we're doing right now is finding out whether or not Leah's actually listening to the show.
Yeah, I don't think she is. I think she's editing.
Is she?
I do. I think she's doing the podcast.
Will you stick your head out there and bring her in here? I wish I had some.
Oh, yeah, she is. Oh, she's listening.
Yay! There she is. Get her camera up on here. I was thinking about, I don't know. I'm a curmudgeon. I don't pretend not to be a curmudgeon. And the thing that makes, why are you nodding so emphatically? That's the most you've ever agreed with me.
Well, I just find you to be a truth teller is what I do.
That's not what I said.
You tell things like they are, even about yourself. It's amazing. It's really impressive, Annie.
You're insulting me in a nice way.
You're doing a great job. Keep going.
I'm a curmudgeon.
Great. Love it.
People, what I realize, and maybe that this is something that just happens when you're around 40. And yes, I talk a lot lately about being around 40 because it's hitting hard. Not all in a bad way, but some of it's bad.
Yeah, a lot of it feels like a Nancy Kerrigan club. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Brad and Ryan both on the other side of that hill than I am, 39 and a half plus now.
I'm just kind of on top of it still.
No, you're not.
Oh,
you're
I'm
on the
not
other
over.
side.
No.
Yeah, we are. We're both on top of
You
Old
are,
Smoky.
in fact, over the hill, dude.
No, not yet.
Well,
yeah, he's right on top of that hill.
Ryan,
on top of Old Smoky.
You know when we are talking about you being in a fantasy land?
Yeah.
This is what it's like
She
on the other
wants-
side.
She wants me to acknowledge it. I won't do it.
You don't have to acknowledge it for it to be
Yeah.
true. That's
It's not
that's
true,
the thing
though.
about facts.
But it's not true.
You're over 40.
I'm 40.
Correct.
We only go by
Plus,
years.
Well, correct.
We
You-
40-year-olds.
You.
Like you're
you
40
only
for
go-
less than a millisecond, if by that rule. Now you're 40.
Yes.
You're on top of the hill until you're 41. Then you're over the hill.
You literally are over the hill at 40. That's what the party signs
Now,
say.
there's a plateau at the top of that hill,
Mhm.
and it's right at 40. I think he's right. Yeah, 40 is a cliff that you go off of, not a hill you climb
It's
over.
like that part of the roller coaster where you're just kind of hanging there.
Yep, right there.
And then it's just.
Yeah.
and-
Man, Brad, you're right. Annie's a truth teller, and Brad's a truth teller. Everybody's telling the truth
Yeah.
all the time.
So they're over the hill, and Leah is in her mid-20s, correct?
Yeah,
Do you wanna-
26.
Should we argue about where that puts you in your mid-20s?
No, she's in her mid-20s.
I wasn't asking you, Brad.
It's just a fact.
I was asking Leah, because we all get to determine for ourselves what our reality is here.
I mean, is there a name for mid-20s?
No. Fun.
Okay.
Less ibuprofen.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, people will say like, "Oh, hey, you want to go out and blah blah." And my answer is always no.
Mine too.
I don't want to do that. But when I was younger, I would fake like I kind of did. Now I don't.
Now you don't even pretend.
Well, it's just like it's either do that or sleep, or rest or sit down. Or these are my options on any given day, and I'm just kind of ready to not pretend anymore. Did that happen to you before 40? Or do you still pretend?
I still pretend to be interested.
Really?
Yeah.
In what? Name names.
I think because I am interested in most events that I'm invited to. Otherwise, people would not think of me when they think of the event. But I initially, my initial reaction is always, yeah, that sounds great. And then reality hits me in the face that I can't do anything. That I can ever do anything because my schedule's so full with the kids the age that they are.
Well, people keep talking about Halloween stuff with me, and I'm like, I don't really like doing that. I don't really like doing that. And there are things that I'll do because I'm a mom, and
Yep.
you just do them because you see them and it makes them happy, whatever. So I made a list of things, and these aren't all these. Some of these things I'll do or like, but a lot of them I just don't suffer anymore.
This is your list.
Yeah, I made this list.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, this is somebody could go write a BuzzFeed article after this.
Done.
Halloween, take it or leave it. So you're gonna tell me if you take it or leave it.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. What about trick-or-treating for any minor-aged kid? If you were in school, high school or younger, are you happy to let any kid that age trick-or-treat, or do you think there should be an age cutoff? So I'm saying trick-or-treating for any minor-aged kid, take it or leave it. I'm taking it. I think that if you were trick-or-treating, that's fine. I don't care if you're in high school.
I say leave it. Once you get to a certain age.
What age?
Driving, I think.
What if you're going with your little sister who's 9?
That's okay. Gives you a free pass. Get out of jail free card.
So you're okay with it?
In that scenario, yes. But if you're just trick-or-treating with your friends and you're 16 years old, that's going door to door, like going to a party or going to some sort of event, a church event or something, that's fine. But going door to door trick-or-treating past 16, I think is just weird. It makes you think the kids are up to something. Like the trick-or-treat is
Maybe
the threat.
they're trick-or-treating because they're not up to something.
Maybe. But if a group of 16, 17-year-olds come to my door and they say trick-or-treat, I'm giving those dudes some serious treats because I'm thinking they are going to do something to my house if I
You're
don't.
going to talk them into it.
Yeah.
I say take it. You say leave it. What do you think, Brad?
Pretty much take it unless they, like, I can't stand the kid that's like 18 that just shows up to your door with a plastic bag and a hoodie. They didn't even try to
You
dress
need to be
up.
in costume. No, you
Yeah,
have to be.
you have
I'm
to be
talking
in
about
costume.
Costumed teenagers or whatever the age is, trick-or-treating.
Yeah, if you're partaking in the whole thing, I'm down with it. Do your thing.
Leah?
I was going to say the same thing. As long, I don't care how old they are, as long as they come, like, respectful, in a costume, fine.
All right. Chocolate over fruity candy. That's a take it for me. I don't want, and fruity candy this doesn't really have much to do with fruit, except for the colors, the corresponding colors. I say chocolate. What do you say?
Before I hit 40, I would have said leave it. I like the fruity candy. Something about hitting 40. And now I crave chocolate a little bit more. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's hormonal Or what?
Yeah, it's probably that time of the month.
It probably is.
Okay.
It's the end of the month.
It's the
you
end
know?
of October.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Menopause.
Yeah, it's my menopause.
Leah, chocolate over fruity candy?
Definitely.
Take it?
Yeah.
Oh, chocolate all the way.
Yeah.
Chocolate? All right. We're 4 for 4 on that one. Adult costume parties. You can leave that one as far away as possible.
Man, leave it. Leave it
Not
at the door.
interested.
No, I took some people on Uber that night. Halloween night is weird when you drive Uber because you pick people up who are just doing normal stuff, going home from work, and then you pick people up that are in full costume going to adult costume parties, and you're like, I don't really know your world.
I will add a corresponding, like, I have a affinity for Disney World, but I won't wear Mickey ears. Like, I own none for myself. I'm not going
Even
there
at the parks or anything.
No, I don't. My daughters have them, and they sometimes wear them, mostly for pictures, but I don't have them. I don't wear them. I don't care if other people do, but that's not my jam. I don't need to dress up.
I do that, and I cock my head to the side for all the pictures, and I do a little heart with my hands.
I'll show you later. I have the photo.
Yeah.
Adult costume parties, Brad?
No, thank you.
Really?
Yeah, no.
I thought you'd be one of them. Leah?
I'm going to say no. I don't really have
Man,
an opinion.
I feel like we're influencing her.
I do too. I think she'd be all in on it if we were.
Yeah.
You want to come to a party?
Not a costume
With you
party.
guys?
Yeah, costume party just with us.
Tonight.
I mean, with you guys, yeah. But if it's with a bunch of
See?
people, I don't know.
Actually, Leah, Brad, and I are hanging out tonight, but you're not coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you will be in costume.
I'll be looking nice, I hope,
Yeah.
is the goal.
Oh.
To the 9s.
Tanning as we speak.
Brad will be to the 8s.
As high as I can get.
Yeah.
The Vitae event. And yes, I did invite Ryan and a +1, and he turned me down.
My schedule.
Family costumes.
Yeah, I think that's cool. If you can pull that off, that's cool.
Like matching?
Yes, because I'm going to take it on this one. I'm going to leave it on the adult costume thing. But when it comes to coordinating family costumes for trick-or-treating and stuff, or maybe a trunk or treat or whatever it might be, take it.
Yeah, if a family of 4 shows up as the Wizard of Oz characters
Oh my gosh.
or whatever.
My family did that
Yeah.
when I was. Yeah, some of my greatest memories of Halloween are dressing up as a theme. We always called it, who do this theme with my family, with my brother and my sister. It was great.
Did you say yes or take it or leave it?
I'd say take it. I mean, if you're a cute couple, great. I know
We all said take
I'm gonna
it.
get in trouble for this, but like if something like my parents did that, no. No.
That's the exact opposite of what we
I love
said.
that. I love that. I encourage my parents. I know it's not going to happen. My dad is a leave that one alone type of guy.
I'm just imagining your dad dressing
in any costume.
Man, yeah, if Bob Wiggins decided we're going to theme our costumes this year, I don't know that I would recover. I would be so shocked.
Going out trick-or-treating or over staying in and handing out candy. I love trick-or-treating with my kids.
I do
So
too.
I'm doing that.
But I really like handing out candy. The years that I didn't have kids, I love sitting there and waiting for kids to come to the door. But I will have to say, take it because I love trick-or-treating with my kids.
Leah, going out trick-or-treating versus staying at home giving out candy?
I like both, but I am 26, so I can't go out trick-or-treating. I don't have any siblings, so we set up shop at home.
Yeah, that's fun.
I like to start a little, we have a fire pit, and we'll put a fire pit in our driveway and hand out
Yeah.
candy from there and just kind of sit out there and hang out and see all the little kids come up. I think it'd be different if I had kids.
Yeah, it makes a difference. I am more into these things just because of the kiddos.
Right.
Parades.
Man, I'm real on the bubble with that. I'll say take it. I like them. I do like them.
I like them too.
Parades. Brad, I always like them once I'm there, but I do not like parking and walking
No,
and all that.
I was
It's a
thinking
big
that too,
hindrance.
yeah.
But I'm never there going, I hate my life.
Right, yeah.
Unless it's a really bad parade. Halloween weather, October weather. I take it. Love it.
Love it.
And
I
the
do,
colder,
Mm-hmm.
rainier, grayer it gets with the leaves changing and falling, that's good stuff.
Ooh, that's kind of curmudgeonly, but
No,
I do,
it's lovely.
I do enjoy October probably more than any other month for the weather.
I don't like the rain part, but everything else I agree with you on that.
I like it because it makes you stay inside.
Yeah.
Pumpkin carving.
No, leave it.
I don't know if I've ever done it. So.
What?
It just was
Oh, now
never,
we have to all do it.
It was never a
Okay,
thing.
Jerry. Now we have to all do it.
Yeah, we have to all do it.
Something about peanuts.
It was just never favorite thing at our house.
Brad, pumpkin carving?
I am in love with the idea of doing it. I'm just not in love with the process of doing it because it never turns out the way I wanted it to.
I really enjoy it, and it just depends on how many pumpkins you anticipate carving. Because I always try to host all the nieces and nephews over at my house, and we have this big thing, and they're all excited about it, and it never fails. If you carve pumpkins for 2 hours, you get about 50 minutes into it, and all of the adults are sitting there carving pumpkins, and the kids are gone. It's like, what are you doing?
Yes.
No, what are we doing?
Yes.
That's always
why
the
I don't
case.
want to do it.
But then you sit and you stare at them, and you're like, oh, that's so great. I think maybe we have to carve a pumpkin now, Leah.
Okay.
All right, stick around. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more that we'll get to in the next segment. Plus, Annie, are you okay with Trisha in studio? Don't go away. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Was the search for a new speaker an ultimately good thing? Yes or no? We'll talk about it when we come back.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has green-lighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and may even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Help USA to see if you qualify and receive your free tax assessment by dialing 800-210-1005. If you or your business owe back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-210-1005. 800-210-1005. That's 800-210-1005.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
A mass shooter remains on the loose. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Multiple agencies searching for the suspect in last night's shootings in Lewiston, Maine, at a bowling alley and a bar, leaving 18 people dead, 13 others injured.
No words can truly or fully measure the grief of Maine people today.
Governor Janet Mills says no community deserves this. The search continues for suspect Robert Card, a 40-year-old Army reservist and firearms instructor. Just getting word the man suspected of killing a judge in Maryland last week has been found dead today in a heavily wooded area not far from where that shooting happened. Circuit County Judge Andrew Wilkinson was gunned down in his own driveway just hours after he awarded sole custody of the suspect's 4 children to his wife. More attacks reported on U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria. A U.S. defense official telling Fox News in the past 24 hours they were targeted by Iranian proxy groups using multiple rockets. No reports of injuries, but more than 20 U.S. service members have been injured in other recent attacks. The president has warned Iran to be prepared for a response.
As the president also said, we're going to do what we have to do to protect those troops in our facilities. Now, what we decide to do as commander-in-chief, that's his decision to make. And he'll make it in a time and a manner of his own choosing.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby had to cut off the flow of money and training to terror groups. Cryptocurrency part of the focus.
Hamas is using crypto to help finance terrorism. Our current laws are inadequate. We have the power to choke off that lifeline, and I think that's what we should do.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, as the House and Senate hold hearings on state sponsors of terror, including Iran.
We also heard witnesses tell lawmakers today that the focus should not only be on Iran, but also on the buyers, the countries that are buying oil from Iran, like China, like Russia, like India.
Fox Business's Hillary Vaughn on the Hill. America is listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
At
At Simply Safe Home Security, your safety is the only thing that matters. That's why you get 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day, because every home deserves to be protected. Right now, get 45% off the whole home security system named the best of 2023 by U.S. News and World Report. Visit simplysafe.com/radio to save big today. Advanced Home Security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Summertime in late October continues. A mix of clouds and sunshine this afternoon. A couple of showers around 78. Tonight, clouds and showers, 65. Friday, partly sunny, windy and warm. Some showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. 82 on Friday. Cold front comes through Friday night. Showers and thunderstorms, 48 degrees. Much colder over the weekend with still plenty of rain. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
So My Slim 180 is there to help you lose weight when you've tried other things and you haven't been successful. Consider how they can help you. It's a free consultation, so you can sit down and talk to them by registering online at myslim180.com and learn how they can help you lose weight, up to 20 pounds in as little as 6 weeks. That puts you into the holiday season down 20 pounds. Imagine being in photos with your friends, your family, being able to keep up with the energy of the season because you've dropped those pounds. The pressure that comes off your knees, your joints, your ankles, just an overall healthier you. It's just a phone call away or a visit on their website away to getting that free consultation started. And also mention Annie and you're going to get to save. You get 25% off, $25, off an appointment when you mention my name, but you get 20% off a nutritional guidance program, the Crave program, the Regenerate weight loss program, and you get the opportunity to see how they can help you with that semaglutide and tirzepatide injections that everybody is talking about. It is helping people lose weight. Why not you? You're going to get it for a lot less when you connect with Slim 180 compared to what you're going to pay for the pharmacy. Use those FSA and HSA dollars to help make an investment in yourself. You can learn all about it online at myslim180.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
This Halloween, add a touch of fiery excitement to your celebrations with Ghost Tequila. 100% agave tequila, perfectly paired with spicy ghost peppers. The subtle spice intoxicates your senses, only to disappear without a trace after a few seconds. Sip it solo or give your favorite drink a kick in the glass. Ghost Tequila is the life of the party. It's no wonder that 1 in 6 margaritas ordered is spicy. Summon the heat this Halloween and ask for Ghost Tequila by name at your favorite bar or restaurant.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly ranked hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family. Available at Walmart and other participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The people have spoken. I want to thank you, St. Louis, for voting Onder Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm.
When you're injured, call Onder Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
Conservative solutions, objective conclusions. For news and opinion, this is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Therefore, the Honorable Mike Johnson of the state of Louisiana, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives for the 118th Congress.
Yay! I'm so glad we're here. That was from yesterday, the Speaker Pro Tem, Patrick McHenry, who was so close to getting some extra powers. He did not end up having to do that because they elected Speaker in Mike Johnson. This is what he said yesterday.
The challenge before us is great, but the time for action is now, and I will not let you down. I want to say to the American people, on behalf of all of us here, we hear you. We know the challenges you're facing. We know that there's a lot going on in our country, domestically and abroad, and we are ready to get to work again to solve those problems, and we will. Our mission here is to serve you well, to restore the people's faith in this House, in this great and essential institution.
All right, Mr. Speaker, thank you for that. I know what everybody is thinking, though, but how does Matt Gaetz feel about this?
Play was for McCarthy to return as Speaker and then Jim Jordan to be the deputy speaker in some sort of like Dwight Schrute assistant to the regional manager posture. And that would have been debasing to Jordan, someone I like a great deal, and it would have been empowering to McCarthy. So Garrett Graves and all these people are working to try to effectuate this return of McCarthy. And they're telling us there are going to be 100 votes for McCarthy on the write-in. You know how many there were? 33 on the first write-in. So they flame out terribly. Mike Johnson's gaining momentum. Ultimately, McCarthy gets 43 to vote for him on a secret ballot, but Mike Johnson gets a majority, and then he says, you know what I want? I want a roll call vote, so that those 43 would have to announce themselves as being for a candidate who wasn't even running instead of a unifying force like Mike Johnson. And when we called for the roll call, do you know how many people voted for Kevin McCarthy? 0. He went from zero. So he went from promising 100 votes to delivering 43 to 0 willing to vote for him.
So Matt Gaetz is kind of talking about the behind-the-scenes part where McCarthy was maybe making a little bit of a comeback there. At least that was whispered about in the media coverage as this process
Everyone in the room knew at that moment that I wasn't the force for chaos. I wasn't causing disunity. That for the last 3 weeks, the reason the House of Representatives has been paralyzed is because for his own selfish gain, Kevin McCarthy was sabotaging the candidacy of anyone else because he was plotting a return.
I like how Matt Gaetz tells this really compelling story, and it's very interesting to know the background. And then you find out it's also that he can say that it's not him, it's Matt McCarthy's fault.
Yeah.
That's right. That's how we got here. I don't like either of them. I don't hate either of them. I'm annoyed by both of them. I'm kind of annoyed by all of them. And I'm glad that we're on this side of having a speaker. Our YouTube live chat poll for today, which I encourage you to go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel so you can vote in this poll and tell us what you think. We want your comments as well. The poll is, was the search for a new speaker an ultimately good thing? Yes or no? Bob says, lost valuable time to accomplish the mission of saving our government. Regardless of who is speaker, to accomplish anything, they have to find agreements between Democrats and Republicans. Betsy says, I chose yes. I like everything about him. So far, time will tell. Let's go to Mary's comment here. Took too long, but I think they made the right choice. So, Ryan, your thoughts on today's poll. Was the search for a new speaker ultimately a good thing?
I'm going to say yes, and the time will tell aspect of this is probably going to be everybody. Is going to be, well, only wait and see a little bit. But I'm not going to say yes because I think Mike Johnson's going to do great things. That's wait and see. I just don't think this wait and all this quote-unquote chaos has been as big of a deal as everybody else does. So I kind of downplay the last 3 weeks as being chaotic and terrible for everything, as being not as big of a deal, and therefore the switch has been good because what did we really lose?
Well, my question, I have to ask Ryan a question here. What is the good that has come out of it then?
Well, I think we have a more conservative speaker, and it does seem like the whole House is united behind him, at least in the vote.
In your estimation, what is not conservative about Kevin McCarthy?
I don't know, other than that he didn't have the full support of the Freedom Caucus as much
He
as this guy
helped
does.
start the Freedom Caucus.
But he didn't seem to have all their votes all the time. So I'm not sure why they always didn't like him. I don't know if it was just Matt Gaetz or if there were more of them. I mean, certainly at the beginning, Chip Roy was
Probably about 8.
part of that. No, well, there was more at the beginning. There was more like 15 or 20 at the very beginning, not like this time, but when he was voted on originally.
Right. But those that were in there whenever they were talking about it, those that were part of that 15 or 20, those were some of the most vocal supporters of Kevin McCarthy whenever he was up for removal.
Yeah. I don't necessarily have anything hard against Kevin McCarthy. I just know that there are people who are very conservative who I like, and they say they like Mike Johnson better. They have a little more insider knowledge than I do, so I'm just deferring to them.
I just don't think that we know that Mike Johnson is more conservative than Kevin McCarthy, because how conservative you are is different than how you function politically in a role where you have to bring people together. And Mike Johnson said it, that we have to not compromise our principles, but potentially compromise our preferences when he was reaching across the aisle. I am not willing to sit by and just take Matt Gaetz's word that Kevin McCarthy had to go. And I don't think that Matt Gaetz having zero plan for what happens afterwards, just to remind everybody 3 weeks later, oh, just so you know, Kevin McCarthy still sucks, and I'm right. Like, I don't give a hoot about who's right or wrong. I want function. We have spent 3 weeks of time talking about something that was in a completely, in my opinion, unforced error. When, like, the most massively, dramatically huge implications of what's taking place in other areas of the world should be front and center. And this circus sideshow should not be sucking up the news. We should have been making progress in these committees that we have not been able to make progress in. Was the search for a new speaker ultimately a good thing? I'm a no. And like many people are saying here, time will tell. I need time to tell before I change my mind. Mm-hmm. I'm not willing to say, yeah, I think it's a good thing because we got somebody in there who's fresh. Like, for the sake of what? I think Mike Johnson sounds great, but I don't know anything about him. He's going to have to show that to me first. I don't have a problem with him. I don't have a problem with Kevin McCarthy. The only problem I have with Matt Gaetz is that Matt Gaetz's problems have to be everybody's problems. And I got a problem with that. Mm-hmm. What's your vote?
I'm kind of with you. I'm a no. I don't think it was worth it. I'm optimistic. I want to lead with that. I'm optimistic about Mike Johnson. But the thing about it is while we changed speakers, what we didn't change is the makeup of the House. We didn't change any of it. The makeup of the House is the exact same as it was prior to McCarthy being ousted. It's the same people in there. McCarthy's not the speaker. Now Mike Johnson is. These are still the same people you're going to have to work with. These are still the same people you're going to have to cut deals with. I don't know that Mike Johnson being speaker shapes how the votes in the House come out. And those that are like so uncompromising are still going to be upset whenever compromises are made. So I don't think we are any better.
G-Wibs on YouTube says that Johnson sounds good, but if it never happened, it probably would have been better. Time will tell, and I'm trying to be optimistic. That kind of sums up what you just said, a bit of what I just said. Mark said, yes, it was frustrating while the sausage grinding was going on. It ended very, very well. I hope so. I think that is an optimistic way to look at it, but I just don't, in my opinion, know that it ended well yet, because I don't know in 2 weeks, what if Matt Gaetz doesn't like Mike Johnson in 2 weeks? I don't know what kind of personal beef he has with Mike Johnson of Louisiana, but guess what? If he has any, we're going to know about it. Zelda said, I voted yes, but only time will tell. He looks good on paper, but sometimes D.C. promises are worth nothing. Agreed. The Republican Party as a whole has to come together and determine that this is what they want. That they want to show America that we have a great distinction from what the Democrats have to offer, and we are capable of handling the majority. And I think that these exercises can be good. And if Matt Gaetz would have done what he did and there was a plan and that would have turned around and, maybe give it 48 hours, I would have said, okay, I think that maybe we've upgraded here. It took 3 weeks, and that was a very unnecessary 3 weeks off. That's my thoughts and opinions on it. You guys want to finish up Halloween, take it or leave it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Take it?
I'll take it.
Take it. I got to find it on my phone. Christmas creep. In Halloween, have you seen Christmas stuff in stores?
I have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. People call that the Christmas creep.
I have.
When it's Halloween and it's October and it's kind of gloomy outside, a little breezy, and that chill is in the air when you're like, oh, I should have had a jacket. And then you go into a store and you see some Christmas stuff. Take it or leave it.
Go ahead, Brad.
I'm going to leave it in October, but tell me if I'm a hypocrite because I'm already planning my house decorations, my lighting for outside.
What do you mean you're planning it?
I'm working on what I'm going to do. I'm thinking about things I'm going to buy to put up.
Have you seen those things that have caused you to think about buying them?
Yeah, but
Then you're a hypocrite.
but it wasn't at a store.
Oh, no. Well, that's what that's what I'm saying. Because a lot of times, like Michael's, not the flooring store. Although I don't know. Maybe they do. I haven't,
The craft.
seen it.
You're talking about
The
the
All their
craft
Christmas
store.
flooring's out.
Yeah. Hey, and you should get it because it's great flooring.
The mistletoe hardwood flooring.
Michael's craft store will have Christmas stuff out in like July. And people get bent out of shape. I'm like, people make stuff to sell for Christmas. Do you want them to start making it in after Thanksgiving? Stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you
Just
need
like
to
my
relax
advent
there.
calendars.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if it's in Walmart or if it's in like Sears.
You mean Roebuck?
My husband used to work at Sears, and I was talking about Black Friday. It just made me go to. I don't think Sears exists anymore. Kmart, you know.
Yeah. Dillard's.
Is Dillard's called?
Yeah, they're still around. I'm just saying stores.
So am I. Woolworths.
Yep.
Does it-
Famous and bar.
Christmas creep. Take it or leave it.
I'll leave it. I want to have October for Halloween and the fall stuff, and then after Halloween, I'm fine with it.
So November 1st, you see Christmas stuff. You're okay.
Yeah.
Leah,
Leave it.
when is it? When are you permitting Christmas stuff in the store?
In the store, November.
Okay. Well, I am okay with it at any time. So
I'm a
take it,
hypocrite because I
take it.
kind of am okay with it in July, but not October.
Doesn't it make you happy when you see Christmas
Yeah,
stuff?
it does. And when I hear Christmas
Not when
music,
it's hot outside.
It makes if you see Christmas things and it makes you angry, I think you're doing Christmas wrong.
Mhm.
And you're like, you're doing Christmas wrong because it's at the wrong time. And I'm like, I don't care what you think.
well, biblically, they think that originally. I'm not going to make that argument.
Like, I was gonna say,
I'm not going to do that.
I don't think there's a Bible argument here.
I think
Jesus
it's-
is the reason for every season.
Right.
Slasher gory movies.
Oh, boy.
Leah, take it away.
Take it.
It's the most excited I think I've ever seen you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Should
been
we be
talking about this.
concerned?
No. Well,
No, because we've actually off air
Yeah.
been talking about this topic.
Yeah, I'm like slasher gory movies, and she's like, oh, all right.
All
Now
year long.
we've tapped into Leah's point of interest. What's your favorite?
I have so many, but I really like the Halloween franchise.
Okay.
I love Michael Myers. He scares me.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a weird sentence.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I have a friend named Michael Myers.
Does he kill people?
No, he's fine. Totally on the level. I don't
You're-
think he's killed more than a couple people.
You're probably top on his list. That's
Yeah.
why he's so nice to you.
Yeah.
Do you like slasher gory movies?
Here's the thing, Annie. I used to not. The last couple years, I've been kind of dipping a toe in that genre a little bit more. Even to the point where I'm talking to Leah, who's an expert in the genre, and recommending movies to her now. What the heck is going on with these airline peanuts?
So weird. Brad?
I'm a hard no on this one.
Same.
I do not like them.
There's
Leave
really
it.
Nothing else to say about it other than don't.
Don't.
Psychological thrillers.
Yes, definitely. That was the gateway drug for me into the horror genre.
Okay.
Like what? Like what would be a psychological?
I think The Sixth Sense would be a psychological thriller.
I could take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like movies that make me think.
That are scary?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they kind of mess with my head a little bit.
I'll take it too. That's the kind of scary movie that I can handle.
Yeah.
Spiritual realm thrillers. Demons, evil,
Ooh,
possession.
spiritual realm thrillers or horror?
I don't care. I don't leave them I'm leaving them all. So I don't know what the distinctions are.
Because that to me is where they start to get real scary.
Yeah.
That is the scary stuff. 'Cause I kind of believe it's the only thing that's accurate.
Right. I don't know. I'm going to say, I still am going to say take it because I've been dipping my toe all
Me
over the
too.
place. There's little toes all over.
I'm leaving that stuff. I'm leaving it.
Yeah. Got my toe in the pudding, got my toe in the horror.
Ew.
Ew. You could say toe in the water.
I prefer pudding.
Ouija boards.
Oh, no. Pass. Hard pass.
No, I've never done one.
No.
And shake my finger at anybody who I pass who's using one.
I don't even want to be in the same vicinity of somebody using
Brian's playing Ouija boards, but he's like, can I use my feet?
Dip my little toe on this
Absolutely
one?
not. Absolutely not.
That's the only reason he's never played one.
I-
Everyone
yeah.
keeps telling him no.
No, you can't
Even
use
the
your foot, Ryan.
spirits. You're like, get that out of here.
Forget it.
Yeah.
They spell out the word don't.
It's saying something. It's saying keep your feet off the mover.
There's probably a word for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I really
Is it a
don't
mouse? Is it
want
a
to mess
mouse?
with them. I don't know. What's the name for the thing? No. You know
Have
what?
you ever used a
Don't
Ouija
even-
board?
No.
Have you, Leah?
No.
Have you, Brad? Pastor?
No.
No, me neither. I never have. I've been at slumber parties where they got it out, and I went into the other room.
I have too.
Slumber parties? Yeah, we
Yes.
told you to leave. We said, get your feet away from us. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage. That's not funny. That's very serious.
No, but wow, what a post you just did.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That was amazing.
Stewart's American Mortgage wants you to know about the bagel loan because when you're looking to buy a home right now, especially with mortgage rates being as high as they are, we need to make sure that we are getting the best deal that is available to us. And you're going to do that when you use a bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage. He is there to help you walk through the plan so you understand how the bagel loan doesn't charge you closing costs. They're not there. They don't exist. They don't get rolled into the loan. You're going to save thousands of dollars when you qualify for the bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage. You can talk to him at 314-324-4440. Give him a call at that number. It's his direct line to his cell phone. You can text him as well, 314-324-4440, and ask him how a bagel loan can maybe help you out, purchase your home, get the lowest rate it is available to you, and avoid paying those closing costs. He's going to help you. He's going to guide you. He's going to give you any options that might exist and make sure that you are primed to be the most aggressive buyer and person putting in an offer on a house so that you can actually secure that home for yourself. Call or text 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440 and talk to Stewie today about how he can help you with a mortgage. Make sure you mention the Annie Frey Show when you give him a call. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Gone South, winner of the prestigious Edward R. Murrow Award, is back. Laredo, Texas, a border town community where in the fall of 2018, 4 women were found dead. In Season 3 of Gone South, The Sign Cutter, join award-winning producer and journalist Jed Lipinski as he unravels the story behind the manhunt for a serial killer that led to a shocking standoff.
All episodes of Gone South, The Sign Cutter are available now exclusively on the free Odyssey app or listen weekly wherever you get your podcasts.
If you need a new bath or shower, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now, they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or 0 interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
Marie, is that you?
Oh, hi, Barb. How you doing?
Better now. Did you know we had a little health scare with Jeff?
Oh, no. What happened?
Well, he had been short of breath and was really tired a lot of the time. He just thought he was getting old and was out of shape, but it turns out it was heart valve disease.
How did you figure it out?
He finally went to the doctor, and she was able to listen to his heart and detected the problem. I didn't realize it, but heart valve disease is more common than you'd think. They were able to replace the valve, and he's feeling so much better now.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
More than 5 million Americans are diagnosed with heart valve disease every year, but most people know nothing about the condition, and it can be deadly if untreated. That's why it's important to listen to your heart and ask your doctor if your symptoms may be due to heart valve disease, or if you're at high risk. A message brought to you by Heart Valve Voice US. For more information about the symptoms and treatments for valve disease, go to heartvalvevoice-us.org.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
You don't have to punch it in.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop.
You can just say it.
Hey, Alexa. Hey, Siri.
Play 97.1 FM Talk. Available on your smart speaker any time of day. St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Where are you now when darkness seems to win? Where are you now when the world is crumbling? Oh, I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, where are you now?
That didn't sound right. Trying to encourage Ryan to do some funny stuff here, and he's like, I don't understand. I thought Rockmouth would maybe make an appearance here.
That is Rockmouth. Darn right. Rockmouth's here. Ladies and gentlemen, there needs to be a big, like, WWE intro for Rockmouth.
If only we knew someone who could produce one of those.
Yeah, I wish we did.
Like your imaging director. Ryan?
Rockmouth.
Ryan? Me too.
You have to ask me nicely. Don't make me beg here.
Ask me anything.
Tell me the truth! All right, Trisha, hi.
Hi, that's a weird intro for Annie. Are you okay?
Yeah. Anyway, it's not the right one.
Oh, no.
He didn't even know it. He just realized it.
Hold on.
I promise to tell you the truth, though.
In fairness, I am going to ask you some things.
Okay.
So,
Hey.
Is Annie okay with this?
Maybe we could get Rockmouth to record Annie, are you okay?
He's busy working on his oohs and ahs.
Yeah. Well, they need a little work, so.
Georgia restaurant has adult surcharge for parents who let their children run wild.
That's terrible.
The Toka Riverside restaurant in the Blue Ridge Mountains states on its menu, quote, adult surcharge for adults unable to parent. According to a recent Google review, it's a hefty fee of $50.
Oh!
Wow.
The restaurant has mixed reviews. Some say the food
Really?
Some say the food is great. Others are very upset about this surcharge. Annie, are you okay with this concept?
Well, restaurants do this type of stuff without being so on the nose about it. They make their kids' meals $9 and their tiny kids' meals, and they don't offer good options. They don't have
to discourage.
Yeah, you just go there. I mean, you as a parent go there one time. They're not saying like don't bring your family, but they're saying it's going to be kind of expensive if you bring. They're going to make it worth their time. I think kids' meal, look at the price of a kids' meal, even if you're not there with children. Look at the price of a kids' meal on a menu, and you will know very quickly whether or not the restaurant wants families to go there. It's not like they're not going to service them. But if you get a $9 kids' meal and it's a teeny little meal, as a parent, you're going, I'm not taking my kids back here again. That was ridiculous. You might go just you and your husband or whatever. So high top tables. There are a lot of restaurants that maybe they're a little smaller bar and grill type of thing. They'll have mostly high top tables, a few that are lower and they're hard to get. kids, you can't bring kids to that.
Mhm.
And so
you see subtle ways that they're doing it.
Yes,
This is
for
very
sure.
on the nose.
And I
though.
make decisions to not go to those restaurants with my family. And I'm not really mad about it. They just don't get my business for my whole family. But I think that they prefer to have more adults filling their tables, which is probably more lucrative. So it's a business decision on their part and mine. This is a little forward. I wonder if they've actually assessed it on people, because I would imagine if somebody was like, "Oh, we're gonna charge you $50," I can't imagine anyone's like, "All right, here's $50."
They actually did pay. There were a couple of Google reviews of people that were very upset because their kids were running around the restaurant. They got the $50 fee, had to pay it, and then took to the internet.
I don't support parents who don't control their kids, though. So, I mean, is this the right way to police it? Maybe. It just seems, I don't know. I get frustrated at restaurants when kids are running around and I'm working really hard to keep my kids in check. And my kids are like, those kids look like they're having a lot of fun. Why does it suck at this table? And I'm like, because you have responsibilities and manners. Yes. So,
And I don't want to pay $50 to have you guys eat your $9 kids meals.
I would imagine that this restaurant isn't assessing this $50 charge frequently. So maybe I'm okay with it.
I think this restaurant sounds like they're not necessarily saying don't bring your family, but they are saying, hey, you, don't bring your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of okay.
We don't serve your kind around here.
Yeah.
This took a turn.
Have you ever noticed that, though, as a parent, Ryan?
All the things you just said, I've never noticed before.
Really?
The really expensive
No.
kids meal, yes, I'll notice that because I'm paying for it. But I never thought about the high top tables and that kind of thing. I guess there's a vibe when you go into a restaurant of whether or not you feel like kids are welcome or not. So I kind of get that, but I never put any specifics to it.
That has never crossed my mind either, the high top table thing. I've never thought about that, but I don't have kids, so that's probably why I've never thought about that.
And he loves high top tables. He's like, can I swing my legs,
I like to
Terry?
swing my legs, yeah.
I do.
I wish these restaurants, if that's your niche, if you want to create a restaurant that is basically for adults, just say it. Like the underhanded, like the
I wouldn't
not on the nose.
I wouldn't from a business standpoint say it.
Why not? I mean,
because it's exclusive.
That's what you're trying to carve out, though.
Yeah, but you're doing it in a way that some people don't know it's happening.
Yeah, yeah. I need it to say Applebee's adults only.
It's not one of them.
White Castle hiring robots as fry cooks.
Sure.
Now, the fast food chain has been outsourcing some of its jobs to Miso's Robotics Flippy 2. The experiment started in Chicago in September of 2022,
okay with that name.
but it has made its way here. We actually saw a Flippy 2 at a St. Louis White Castle earlier this week. Annie, are you okay with robot fry cooks?
Yeah, they kind of deserve it.
Is it just
Not
a
the
robot
robots.
arm, or is it a full robot man that
Like
kind
a
of stomps
robot
around?
machine.
No, it's
type
a
deal.
human that wears the arm. It's just an arm.
I don't want to see
A
like
chef
just
hat?
oh,
You
it's
ever
a
seen-
robot hand that like moves the patties around. I want to
Have
see
you ever seen the
a robot
Jetsons?
man that's like stomping. And
Yeah, does it
gets
look like
mad.
Rosie from the Jetsons?
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what did it look like? What's Flippy 2 look like?
Just a machine that makes a.
Can you explain the
burgers for
machine a
you.
little bit?
It looked like a big metal square.
I don't really know what I'm picturing here.
And it just throws it together inside of it.
I guess so.
Oh.
I didn't ask to see the inside of it. I just
Can I see the inside of Flippy?
Do you do this every day? All day?
Every day. Every day.
Can you open up Flippy for me? I want to see what he looks like on the middle.
I might regret telling you guys about the Flippy I saw.
When prices go up for your value meals, which aren't even value meals anymore, when prices are more expensive and it's harder to get a human to help you with things, we've asked for this. And is the robot more likely to get your order correct? I don't know. But I do believe that we have bounced back a little bit from the atrocious service and quality that came right out of COVID.
Yeah.
There was a moment in time where it was like, I don't want to go out to eat anywhere. And
Yeah,
it wasn't
you would
because
get anything.
No.
It did not matter
Uh-uh.
where you were. They
it wasn't
won't
hot.
Eat it.
It was not the right order. It was never the right order. I think we're getting a little bit better at that, but we don't have a generation of people who are supposed to fill those part-time jobs who want to work for the money that you get for working those part-time jobs. So, hi Flippy 2.
I
don't go
to Flippy 1.
I don't. Yeah.
Me too. Flippy
Thank
1
you.
was
We don't
making
talk about it.
$12 an hour. Flippy
Yeah.
2 demands 15.
Brett Michaels adopts dog named Brett Michaels.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Does he wear a bandana around his neck?
The Poison frontman adopted a 6-year-old husky named Brett Michaels. Apparently, canine Brett Michaels donated blood to help save a kitten's life. When human Brett Michaels heard the news, he adopted the dog and the kitten. He's
Such
looking
morning radio show story.
He's looking for a new home for said kitten, but plans to keep his namesake. Annie, are you okay with pets having human names?
My dog's name is Rosie. Is that a human name?
That's like borderline.
Mm-hmm. After Trevor Rosenthal, if you're listening. And we always named dogs after somebody in the Cardinals organization. So we had a Gibby and we had a Duncan. Duncan was named after, we got Duncan in September of 2006, it would have been. And Chris Duncan was like the hottest hitter in baseball. It was unbelievable. And so we named him Duncan. And he I think he wrapped up a pretty good season in 2006, and then he's passed away since then. Was it a brain tumor that he had?
Yeah.
But it was fun to mark that point in time. Like, I always remember when Chris Duncan was so good because of the name of our dog. And Gibson came to us as a rescue. Duncan and Gibson were both rescues. Gibson came with the name Gibson, and we kept it because it's a Cardinals name. But I guess it was German Shepherd, Australian Shepherd mix, but he had like the ice blue eyes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the people who named him after Mel Gibson. You're like, we're going to change the meaning behind your name and keep it. Because some people will adopt dogs and change their names. We kept it. So I'm all for that. Name your dog whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have a fish named Khalil Green. Samesies.
How long were you wanting to say that?
I had it going for about 60 seconds. I was waiting for you to get done.
Were you pretty excited about it?
Yeah, I liked it.
It was a good joke.
Thank you.
Florida Man Games are now a thing. The inaugural Florida Man Games will take place in February of 2024 in St. Augustine.
Is this just people doing dumb stuff?
Events will include evading arrest, obstacle course, beer belly wrestling, and the Category 5 cash grab.
No alligators?
My guess is they will have something with alligators, but this just talked about the evading arrest, obstacle course, beer belly wrestling, and the Category 5 cash grab.
Can we enter somebody into that competition?
I'll look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that'd be fine with me if it's in St. Augustine.
St. Augustine is awesome.
I know.
It's like if you need a volunteer.
It seemed like a nice area to be having something called the Florida Man Games.
I thought the same thing, like a really nice backdrop for beer belly
St.
game.
Augustine, the oldest city in the United States.
Yeah. Let's
Isn't
have
that
these
where
guys
Waple
falling
Miski
over
is
each
from?
other.
That is where the Waple Miski is from.
The what?
Waple
Waple
Miski.
Miski.
We said it on purpose this time. Not the first time, though. But we ran with it.
Are you okay with Florida Man Games?
Yeah. Yeah.
Driver?
Signing Ryan up.
Yeah, I'm fine with it as long as I get to go.
Okay.
And we get to go to report on it, right?
Can you imagine Ryan in a beer belly competition where he takes one sip of beer? He's like, I'm so drunk.
I can't imagine that because that's what would happen.
I know.
That's exactly what would happen.
That's
Man, I
correct.
get drunk quick. And I sober up quick, too. I want credit for that.
It's because it's all in your head.
Because it's so
It's
so
not
fast that it
real.
goes away fast.
Uh-huh.
Oh, my gosh. This 15 minutes is going to be great, though.
You sound like Chris Christie calling Trump dumb duck. Man, and he is leaning into that. He is not backing down.
Is he?
from it.
I haven't seen that.
He just posted yesterday, help me get onto the debate stage to keep this guy from ducking around.
Do you think that he had that planned before that sentence and he's just sticking to it?
I
Or has
think
it been
he's
the
had-
blowback and he's like,
I
I'll
think
just
he's had
embrace it?
Donald Duck prepared for as long as you had Khalil Green.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Khalil Green.
I'm going to have that back tomorrow somehow. Don't know how yet.
You're going to work Khalil Green
I'm
back
going to
in?
work Khalil Green back
Yeah,
into the
he's
show tomorrow.
really happy about it.
Yeah.
Drivers
listener.
stopped for using clown dummy as passenger in carpool lane. A Washington state trooper stopped a driver using the high occupancy vehicle lanes while the sole passenger was a creepy clown dummy. Love the Halloween vibe, but still doesn't count, the officer wrote on social media. Unfortunately for the driver, employing the dummy added an extra fine on top of the improper use of lanes. Annie, are you okay with the carpool lane?
We don't have them here anywhere, do we?
Not really,
Yeah,
but on
70.
70 we have that extra couple lanes that opens each way.
But that's not
But that's not a carpool
policed
lane.
in any
No,
way.
that is a weird thing that
And
we
it's
have, though.
almost never open.
Yeah,
Have you ever
and
been
when
on
it-
it? Yeah. Do you ever feel like you're playing with fire?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like,
it's
oh my
very-
God, I hope I'm the only one going this
Yeah.
way.
Oh, I hope I don't need to exit
Yeah.
before this thing allows me to.
Yeah, panic.
Like,
It's not even worth it.
It's weird. It does feel like you entered some sort of Twilight Zone when you're in that thing.
Man, why were you driving 95? I was really scared.
I don't know, man.
Wanted it to be over
I don't
as
know,
fast
man.
as
Is this
possible.
real?
Lawlessness. I don't drive 95 on purpose. I don't drive 95. No. I don't drive in the 90s or the 80s. I don't know. It's hard for me to weigh in on this one because we don't have it. I don't need it. It does sure seem like people are trying to take advantage of it quite a lot.
Always.
It's almost as if you make a law and you try to keep people from doing bad things with that law, that bad people are still going to do those bad things.
No.
But, I don't know what that has to do with
it's
anything.
the person, not the thing.
I get if he had to pay for using the carpool lane incorrectly, but he had to pay extra for having a dummy?
He was deceitful.
Yeah, for duping because you had to have the carpool lane, you have to have at least 2 people.
Yeah. What if he was just saying, well, I got to take my dummy over to my friend's house. He wants this dummy.
He should have been in the carpool lane.
I say that every time I drive you someplace.
Khalil Green.
Yeah, you're in control of the music, man. You could have played it out right there because that was very solid. Good job. Let's just sit in our satisfaction, please.
You want one more? Okay.
play it out.
Police snag thief who pretended to be a mannequin. A Polish man has been arrested for stealing from a shopping center after it closed. A statement from police: a 22-year-old with a bag in his hand froze motionless, pretending to be a mannequin in front of a shop window.
This is actually about Ryan Wiggins.
No.
It must have worked.
I was going to turn this on Brad.
Sir, what are you doing with all those gummy bears?
Nothing.
No,
Ah, shoot, I shouldn't have said anything.
Oh,
I'm a
man,
mannequin.
you got me. You want a gummy bear? What am I not okay with?
I didn't have a grade. Are you okay for this? So, Annie, are you okay with wax museums?
No. Those are creepy too. Yeah.
All right, that's it.
All right.
Take us out.
Thank you,
Rockmouth.
Brad. And scene.
I hear you say, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. Hey, look up, child. You say, oh, look up, child. You say, hey, look up, child. You say, oh, look up, child.
RulerFoods.com, easy to go onto the website right there, and you can quickly see what's on sale currently. And you can also find the Ruler Foods that is closest to you. Right now, they have Heritage Farm boneless, skinless chicken breasts or chicken wings, $2.49 a pound. Raspberries or blackberries at 6 ounces, 2 for $3. It's a great way to save on delicious produce at Ruler Foods. They also have Kroger cheese, shredded or in bar form, 8 ounces, 3 for $5. Get all of your Halloween needs fulfilled there at Ruler Foods. You can get a free Halloween grab-and-go party kit with a $20 purchase. They have pumpkins or Pumpkin Masters Ultimate Carving Kits for $3.99, and they have Child's Play candy, 52 ounces, for $6.99. So if you're looking to get that candy for the trick-or-treaters or for the office, check out Ruler Foods and save. They are also, if you're looking to smoke or grill or do whatever it is, with some great, really great pieces of meat out there, Boston butt pork roast, spare ribs, or boneless half pork loins, $1.49 a pound. This is a great opportunity to save on feeding your family. We do it every time we shop at Ruler Foods, and I invite you to do it as well. Find them online at rulerfoods.com.
Urgent Camp Lejeune settlement message. On September 6th, the government announced it will soon begin providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now, or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-217-1155. That's 800-217-1155. 800-217-1155.
The first thing you're going to have to learn is that until you stop expecting our politicians or anyone else to change your life isn't going to change. The only person going to change your life is you, but you need to know how.
Want to learn how? Meet Del Wamsley's Lifestyles Unlimited team and get your map to retirement in 5 years or less. Saturday and Sunday, November 4th and 5th, Doubletree by Hilton, St. Louis. Go to GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
The results of today's poll are coming up next, and that poll was the search for a new speaker an ultimately good thing? Yes or no? Stick around for the results and also vote in that poll on the Annie Frey YouTube page. The time is 2:48. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Rocky Sickman knows a lot about what these hostages in Gaza are going through right now. He was held by Iran for 444 days. He joins us in the 5 o'clock hour Thursday evening.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Turn the quiet up, turn the noise down.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Just spin around.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
And put some feel good in my soul. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke. Want a little more right.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Some news regarding what's going on with the Middle East conflict. I'm just going to read a couple Fox News updates right here. The United States Department of Defense spokesperson Brigadier General Pat Ryder said on Thursday that 900 troops have been deployed or are in the process of deploying to the Central Command area in the Middle East. Ryder said the troops heading to the region have been on a, quote, prepared to deploy order and are deploying from the continental U.S. The units, including a high-altitude area defense battery from Fort Bliss, Texas, Patriot batteries from Fort Sill, Oklahoma, the Patriot and Avenger batteries from Fort Liberty, North Carolina, and their Associated Air Defenders headquarters, which are elements from Fort Bliss and Fort Calvados, Texas. Ryder would not say where the units are being deployed to, smart move, but confirmed they are not going to Israel. So there's that update. And then we move to what the Iran foreign minister has said in a UN speech today. This also from Fox News. The Iranian foreign minister warned the United States that it would not be spared if it continues to manage what he called the, quote, genocide in Palestine. While speaking to the United Nations on Thursday, he said, quote, today in New York and in the United Nations, I say frankly to the American statement who are now managing the genocide in Palestine, that we do not welcome the expansion of the war in the region. But I warn, if the genocide in Gaza continues, they will not be spared from this fire. It is our home, and West Asia is our region. He continued by saying his country does not compromise with any party or side and does not have reservations when it comes to the country's security. He directed comments to President Biden, saying Hamas is ready to release civilian prisoners, then added that the world should support the release of 6,000 Palestinians who are also held as prisoners, though in Israel. He said, quote, in addition, why the United States itself is actually and in practice and directly involved in committing crimes against Palestinians, it is not in a position to invite others to exercise self-restraint and refrain from spreading the war. He said, therefore, we strongly warn against the uncontrollable consequences of the unlimited financial arms and operational support by the White House to the Tel Aviv regime, which have led to expansion and added to the severity of the bombardments of the civilians and the Palestinian women and children in Gaza and the West Bank. So this is all happening right now. Why the Iranian foreign minister, I am going to not say his name because I'm going to butcher it. I'm just not going to say it. The Iranian foreign minister is at the UN delivering this speech. Why he is even here blows my mind. Should he be here making this speech?
In the UN?
Yeah.
No, I hate that. I hate that Iran is even part of it. They're not good actors.
So that news continues to get heavy, and we have to continue to watch and be diligent because this is very serious. This is, oh man. I just go back to our conversations with Tyrus and with Deroy when we talk about the first world problem arguments that we're in on a regular basis. I mean, it's like a lazy Susan of what you want to pick up on any given day and spread out on the counter so that you can argue about something that the consequences of what we are facing right now are just nothing that I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I think that few people have ever seen in theirs. So we watch and we wait. The YouTube live chat poll for today was a search for a new speaker, an ultimately good thing, yes or no? A couple more of your comments here before we wrap things up. Rick said, yes, I believe despite the controversy that spawned it and the eruption of the emotions within the Republican Party, this exercise was beneficial to the future of the direction of the Republican Party. K-Matt said, I voted no. Honestly, it put a hold on too much important country business that should not have been put on hold. Mark said, no, the search for a new speaker wasn't a good thing. It just shows how weak the Conservative Party has become and how united the Dems are. Mike says, I said yes, even though I was getting frustrated since it strung out so long. But in the end, the result is good for America with Mike Johnson. Steve said, should never have happened. I've lost all faith in Matt Gaetz. Primary him. I wonder if Steve was a big fan of Matt Gaetz to begin with. Maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Possible, but
unlikely. Your vote on this poll, Brad, was?
I'm a no.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'm a soft yes. I think it is.
Well, the consensus that almost everybody who commented eventually said in one way or the other is time will tell. So we sit here and we watch to see what Mike Johnson is able to lead this House in order to accomplish. And he does not have a whole lot of time to get to business and to show some. I mean, it's not just on Mike Johnson. I mean, I almost feel like Mike Johnson is a reluctant recipient of a lot of turmoil. It doesn't feel, which is, I think, why I like him and why a lot of other people are interested in what he's going to do next. But the very ego-driven ways of people who rise in power and authority in Washington, D.C. doesn't really seem to be how Mike Johnson got there. And I'm interested to see what this looks like, but I'm not buying into it yet.
Yeah, and Brad said this too. It was a very good point. The leadership of the House has changed. The makeup of the House has not changed. The makeup of the Senate has not changed. The White House hasn't changed. So it's not as if now having a leader in the House means, oh, okay, problem solved. You know, there's still a lot to be done, and it's not going to be easy with a divided Congress.
And you have to work with people.
Yeah, ultimately you do, and not sacrifice your principles.
Right.
It's going to be tough. This is a big first test coming right now.
Mm-hmm. Is Donald Trump benefiting politically from the current climate?
The current, like with the House stuff?
No, everything.
Politically, yeah, I think so.
I think so too, just because things are bad, and under this leader, I think people are looking to Biden and saying, why are you allowing these things to happen?
I want to see more from President Trump, former President Trump, on these issues. I want him to speak on these issues, and this is what I always want from him, and I don't get it from him. Well, that's not true. You get it, but it's you gotta strain it out of all the noise. I want to see him focused, laser focused on action. The YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel today was the search for a new speaker ultimately a good thing? The votes are in. 71% of you said yes, it was a good thing. We're going to continue to cover it here on the Annie Frey Show. Mark Reardon Show is coming up next. And as news continues to develop in the Middle East, you've got it on the right spot on your dial right here on 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. There's so much at stake right now, and we're grateful for every minute you share of yours with us. Stick around. Mark Reardon's next.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. We got a lot of stuff coming up here. A very busy day and a sad day. They're still searching for that shooter in Maine. We'll get reaction. We'll get you up to date. Tim Fitch, former St. Louis County Police Chief, is going to join us as well.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? Did you go with one of those high-deductible, limited network Obamacare plans? Well, you're not stuck with it. Or did you go with a plan outside the marketplace that's costing you an arm and a leg? There are better options. Kim Kiefer at H&L Agency offer plans where you only meet a deductible if you go into a hospital. You pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most other plans.